Lobster Productions.
No way, Jose.
The following footage proves beyond any doubt that the tanks intentionally set the house on fire. It proves that the Branch Davidians were murdered. You can see that this tank has a gas jet on the front that shoots fire. You can also see the fire quite plainly. The tank goes into the house twice, and each time as it backs out, the fire at the gas jets is plainly visible.
We must all do more to recognize and look for the early warning signals that deeply troubled young people send.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Dump. This is also the No Way Jose podcast. That's where it's hosted at. I am today's host, Jose Galison. I need to stop saying today's host because yesterday was Austin's last day, so I am the host. I'm the only host of the Morning Dump for at least the time being. But I'm glad to be with you guys. We have Raven and Top Lobster in the background, the Nephilim Death Squad, 2/3 of Dangerous Retards, actually wearing their shirt right now, same shirt I wore on Jake Shields. I think it's the next episode. There's a pretty solid shout out I gave out for them. But yeah, we're here today. I do want to take a moment before we get these guys on and before we really get into too much, just take a minute and also give a minute for people to roll in because it's a group experience. We hang out with you guys. But I do want to take a moment to pay the bills real quick. Remind you guys, go over to NWJ Shave Co. if you want to get that superior shaving experience. This is the way to go. Go the single blade safety razor. It's much preferable that multi-blade nonsense. It gives you much smoother shaves, much better for your skin. Who would have thought dragging one sharp object across your face is better than multiple? Who would have thought? It's also much cheaper. Comes a fraction of the price. It's $75 for the first year. After that, you're just paying for blades. The first year gives you the handle you see here, 100 blades. And yeah, after that, just blades. I mean, and on top of all that, you get 10% off if you use Jose at checkout. So cheap as hell, doggy. Also, there's a COVID mandate refusing company. This is a company that's generally going to kind of align with the people who tend to watch the show's values. So it's kind of a no-brainer. I don't know why you're still using that ancient nonsense. Whether you're shaving your whole face or edging up, this is the way to go. With that, let's go ahead and get out of here. Use Jose at checkout, NWJShaveCo.com. Let's get these boys in here and let's get to this beautiful day because I know we're late. I get it. Yeah, these guys run an N-word time, and by N-word, I mean Nephilim. What's up, brothers?
It was our fault you were late. We have to. Every show that we go on, we have to make it late. It's
running on sneaker time, dog. You look at this. Come on. Are you fucking kidding me right
now? Is that the fucking 85 model? What is that?
Unbelievable. Those are the playoff 12s. You don't even know what's going on right here.
He's spent so long railing against the blacks that he's become the blacks. It's the horseshoe kind of a thing where he's gone so far in one direction that he's kind of circled around. Yeah. It's sad to see.
Dripping wet. Amazing.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you guys on. I already saw some in the chat saying, I hope this isn't one just giant Bro Grove promo. Yeah, that's true. We have nothing but Bro Grove content. All that stuff I put in the promo on social media is a lie. We're just nothing but Bro Grove and riffing off of Bro Grove for about 2 hours. So I hope you guys are prepared. So yeah, I mean, there is a lot to talk about there for sure. I mean, if you guys want to bring up the video you have, we can play that here in a second. But you guys made a promo for that. But yeah, June 20th and June 21st, which is my birthday, the summer solstice.
Very cool.
We picked an occult time. So
okay, will that be your excuse that you won't come this time?
Yeah, I got my birthday.
Birthday.
Yeah, because I'm an adult that cares about my birthday.
Isn't it exciting 34? Though? I know that the audience doesn't want us to do a Bro Grove promo, but you don't understand how exciting it is to do. It's really like you're just going to hang out with the homies, but somehow you're getting people to pay for that experience to watch you hang out with your friends. I'm really excited.
Our Patreon members are like, I can't wait until this shit is over so you can stop like cluttering the Patreon with it.
I saw that.
Yeah. I'm like, well, Got another month and a half.
Between Area 51, Comedy Central,
Sorry,
and a really...
start right away.
Play it. Fuck it. Let's do it.
Okay, well, I guess I'm able to play it from here. I didn't. Oh, jeez, that's wild. I didn't know that was an option. All right, cool. I guess I can do it from here.
Somewhere between Area 51, Comedy Central, and a really intense episode of Ancient Aliens, there exists a place.
I don't like this. Welcome to Bohemian Grove, June 20th to 21st, the Tropic, Leesburg, Florida.
Featuring performances from Tower Gang, Nephilim Death Squad,
The Bard of Band's Speech, Owen Benjamin,
Sam Tripoli.
Hosted by the Cosmic Cowboy of Consciousness himself, Shane Cashman.
You'll experience live podcasts, wild performances,
and the kind of conversations that'll get your group chats flagged by the NSA. God damn it.
Day 2 isn't just off the rails. There are no rails. Yeah, that is gay, right?
It's unfiltered, uncensored, and quite possibly a psyop, but a really fun one.
Conspiracies, comedy, chaos. At least one guy trying to sell you DMT in the parking lot.
Welcome to Bohemian Grove. 2 days. Shut up.
Bohemian Grove 3.
2 days.
1 portal.
And remember, if you don't show up,
The Jews win.
tickets are on sale now. It's actually true, that last part. They do win if you don't show up. So
it's very important that you show up.
This episode, I was joking. There is content today, but it is very Jew heavy. So it's I curated
every episode now.
Yeah, I curated this episode a little bit for you guys. There's certain things I keep that I'm like, oh, I'll keep this in the bookmark. Because, I mean, you guys know that people who follow the show know the layout of the show. It's like mostly just bookmark stuff. We cover it later. It's kind of my way to cover research and also stuff you guys tag me and that you feel like it'd be interesting. But there's certain stuff I just keep in there that I just don't get around to, or I'm like, I bet you I should save this for so-and-so. It just so happened there was a perfect little smattering of content that I had saved in my bookmark folder for you guys, and it was basically all Jew shit. So that's basically the theme of this episode, all Jew stuff. But I will warn the audience, I know for those who aren't familiar with Top Lobster and Raven, and your guys' content, I've told many a times that this show was basically born, like conceptually born out of Timeline Cleanse, Raven's show, which is his daily show that he used to do. That maybe he'll bring back soon. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, you did a daily show, and this was why do I do this, man? I need to stop fucking doing drugs. I keep forgetting my fucking train of thoughts. I'm not stoned right now, I promise. But I just totally lost my train.
Yeah,
that was my
waiting.
point.
I was like, where is this going?
Yeah, and then I was like, as I'm going, I was like, I lost the link, and I'm just like, oh no, here I am, way too far out from the boat to pull myself back in.
That's all right. It happens to me constantly. Yeah, I was doing TLC for a while. We're gonna end up bringing it back. It's gonna come back in July. But what TLC did that I think was so significant was it really helped build the community of like dangerous retards. All these people hanging out in the chat of all of our shows, all the homie shows. It was kind of the thing that got that started. And yeah, I mean, you said it was birthed out of TLC. It's very low hanging fruit. Yeah. It wasn't a genius idea on my behalf. I'm almost certain I stole it from somebody else. And so
I just saw how it worked for you.
Yeah, I'm doing solo show as well. It'll be in the morning. It's called Top Lobster Cleanse.
I don't like that. That's not good. Don't do that.
TLC, dude. That's good.
No.
Yeah.
See, because that's kind of really similar to my branding. Because
it has nothing to do with what you're doing.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
I'm not saying it has anything to do with it. I'm just saying the TLC thing. It's very close to what I did.
No, but it's distinct. It's very different.
I'm
just
saying
similar but different.
Listen, from the guy that stole the name Bohemian Grove from our sweet Stephen Wilkos. I mean, Steve Wilkos. I'm sorry. Can I just address really quickly, Jose?
The fact that
real
Steven's
quick.
a coward?
Well, actually, sure. Give me 1 second though. I actually remember my link. The whole point I was getting at is a little bit of a warning for my audience. Because I said this was born out of Timeline Cleanse, but I have told my audience many times, but who knows, maybe you're one of the late joiners, that your show, Raven, was like, I'd say probably 80 to 90% pee-pee poo-poo, maybe 10 to 20% big brain. You did intellectualize some stuff. It was surprising how many times things would get...
I tried not to.
Yeah, but I think that's a good split, whereas my show is kind of almost the exact inverse. It's typically more big brain, but I still have fun. We still have fun here. I'm not one who can take things seriously. There's no way I can talk about international child trafficking rings without making awful jokes, or else I'll get too fucking sad. And so I'm just giving a warning to the audience that we're probably, given the two of you, we're likely looking at a 50-50 thing here. So if you like the 80-20 big brain pee-pee poo-poo, I'm sorry, maybe this isn't one for you, but this is a pee-pee big brain right now is what we're doing right here. So it's about a 50-50.
loaded in the chamber. two pee pee poo poos ready to go at any moment with very much hair triggers. So whatever you show me, just know that that's the filter that it's passing through. That filter is clogged up with pee pee poo poo.
It's clogged up, baby, but it's about to come out like some fucking diarrhea. Steve Wilkos! I was in your house yesterday, Steve Wilkos, and you did not show up. I sat on your couch. I rubbed my feet, my mud-riddled feet on your couch. I disrespected it. I said, buy a new one, you rich bitch.
Came
and
on
you
your
didn't
carpet.
show up. You couldn't even be bothered to look me in the eyes and tell me anything, Steven, my sweet baby bird.
Did they tell you where he is? Did they tell you why Steven didn't show up yesterday to Union of the Unwanted?
Ricky just wrote in the chat, the private chat. He said he's a coward. Coward. He spelled out coward. Said he just didn't want to come. Coward. And I said, fine. It's
I doubt
fine.
he ever comes.
Oh, he never comes. Well, I mean, if he does, I don't know what he's doing. Is he doing Steven retention, or is he drinking it for the knowledge?
Well, no, he clearly, like, you guys have theorized he's probably addicted to prescription pills, which perhaps he is. I can see the tells. As a former addict myself, but I know there was many a days that I would fall asleep cranking the hog on the pain pills. And the thing is, what people don't realize, one of the side effects you deal with when it comes to pain pills is you just like basically can't come. So like you're like you will just but it's weird because you'll be like, I bet you I can. It's almost like a challenge, especially when you're high. You're like,
I bet today I can come.
Yeah, so I can tell you how many times I'd fall asleep and like or I'd wake up the next day with my dick in hand and be like, oh shit, I did way too much drugs last night. But yeah, that is a pain pill thing. So my point being is he's not coming. So he's if you're going the prescription pill route, if that dude is backed up. He's that's why he's an angry little man.
That's the thing, is he's just angry, and I don't dislike Steve Wilkos. All right, I want to know what makes him tick. I want to know why he's so angry. I also want to know why he accused me blatantly on Union of the Unwanted of stealing Bohemian Grove to him. Which, by the way, right, because we're talking about timeline cleanse, low hanging fruit. Not a. You
don't want like a cut of this.
Model.
I mean, it is your idea, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not a groundbreaking model. Neither is Bohemian Grove. I don't know if people know this. It's Bohemian Grove, but with an R.
Yeah,
right.
With an R.
And so it wasn't very hard to think of.
That's actually what we should say. It's Bohemian Grove with the hard R.
That's a good way to sell it. Yeah,
that's
actually a really good tagline. I'm not kidding.
That's great.
That's an amazing tagline.
But then we got to promise hard R at this place, which is tricky. I don't know if you know this, but that town that we're going to be doing this in, our theater, it's directly across the street from a special needs college.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
a college, a special needs college
of retards. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
No, I'm not saying that it makes sense at all. It's very strange that they would, make a college for them. But
is it just to humor them, just to make them feel special? You guys are going to college.
Show up too. They walk around the town, and didn't one come up to you something? What did they say to you, Top? You were in a store.
I was in an ice cream shop, and like I just got like a weird feeling. I didn't notice, but the guy was like staring at me and my kids, and he just makes a beeline to my kids, and he's like, I really liked Wreck-It Ralph. And my kids were like, they were even off put. And I was like, Wreck-It Ralph's okay. He was like,
pretty solid.
It's a good one. And then he goes, second one wasn't as good. And I was like, yeah, that one sucked.
Trash.
That's fair.
And he was like, word. And then he just turns around and he grabs like a pint full of ice cream that he bought and just speeds out. I was like, I don't know what happened here, but it's amazing.
You never just got the burning urge to let a motherfucker know that Wreck-It Ralph 2 just wasn't quite it. Like it didn't.
It's going to be very, very confusing too, because so like those guys walk around, they have a special lanyard that says that they go somewhere, and we're going to have special lanyard. Like it'll.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's going to be very confusing.
Oh yeah. See, Jose, that's what. So Clint's like, we got to do Dangerous Retards, and I'm like, I don't know where it fits in. I don't think Dangerous Retards is quite there yet. And honestly, the docket is, it's already.
Oh my
slammed,
god!
right?
If there's an international news story, and if there is also the retards popping off, imagine how confusing that's going to be. Like reading that story with like Dangerous Retards, and then there's also like, are you calling the retards Dangerous Retards and some sort of violent act? Like
one side, it's literally this: one side of the street, retards getting education. The other side of the street, Dangerous Retards. And we could look at each other through the windows, you know what I mean, to like kind of shoot glaring looks and such at each other. It's I could see this being a huge problem.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, Rick Bev is right. Wreck-It Ralph is true. Wreck-It Ralph 2 was trash. So, But yeah, shit, guys. But yeah, Bro Grove's gonna be fun. I know. I guess we won't do all episode Bro Grove. We should probably move on to some real content. I have some slight big brain for you guys that we can get into off the jump. Let's go with let's do some war stuff, and then we'll get into the funny Jew stuff. Although it's all kind of Jew stuff, really. Let's be real. We have Putin's declaring a three-day Ukraine ceasefire on May 8th. So looks like we're getting developments on that. I don't know if you have any comments. I was only going to quickly mention it. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you guys.
Seems like a good thing, though, right? I mean, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I've been paying attention. Yeah, I've been paying attention to the minutia of the story for a while because doing a daily show and all. And it is very much kind of like, I don't know what's really going to happen. I mean, this is a 3-day ceasefire.
Yeah, what's that mean?
Something.
Why only 3?
I don't know. So it's either why is this is in celebrations of the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War to last from May 8th to May 11th. So this is in commemoration of one of the battles in World War II, and that's his reasoning for why that. Now, why only 3 days? I'm not sure. Maybe to steel man the concept. Maybe the idea is to kind of feel it out and see, because there was a ceasefire that happened previously. I forget the specifics on it, but essentially then it was on Easter, I think, and they both accused each other of breaking it. So I don't know if this is we're trying it again. Maybe I'm unsure. I'm not super hopeful with this. I think I know Trump did come in hard and we're going to stop this, but I mean, I don't know. This is really probably the most development we've had aside from when they cut off aid and intelligence sharing for a little while. So,
it's not even a given. It's only 3 days, so we don't really know what's going to happen there. I don't know. I mean, it's good. Zelensky, when he was having that discussion with Trump, made it seem like a complete non-negotiable. This war has to continue despite the fact that they're out of resources, they're out of people, and we're effectively fighting this war for them. But here you are, you have 3 days where this is supposedly going to stop. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But it's scheduled to continue after the 3 days. Is there going to be peace talks during those 3 days, or is it just going to be a 3-day ceasefire? We're going to celebrate our thing, and then we'll get back to it.
I haven't seen anything about that. I don't really know. I mean, obviously, when it comes to negotiations, a lot of time they keep some of the stuff close to the vest. So I haven't seen anything about that. Been following semi-closely. Obviously, not as closely as, say, Dave DeCamp here or some of the anti-war guys. Really, I'm mostly just following their reporting, but I don't know anything on the specifics of that. I mean, they all are kind of posturing that, we want to make this better while still killing the shit out of each other and us still giving money to them. So it's kind of like... And it makes it even more flaccid considering that we did in the past actually stop intelligence sharing and aid, and they really quickly, their buttholes tightened up and became chummy with us again. And so we've shown we have the capability to do that. So my point being is I don't know the level of seriousness of any of these people. And if you do have a grip on the idea that Putin really would have any sort of reason to really want to come to peace, aside from if, Ukraine comes to table with suitable whatever, the negotiation demands or whatever, they're killing it. If you look at the war side of things, so it's Russia has no real point, and then Ukraine's really stuck on the we don't want to give up any land, or we don't want to we want to essentially go back to the status quo, and they're like, no, you fucked that up. You don't get the status quo anymore. So that's kind of, and the reason, the idea that Russia would give you the status quo when they're fucking straight up dominating is why would they do that? It makes no fucking sense. So it really comes down to if Ukraine's willing to take an L, and they still seem to be really not want to take that L, as if somehow we're going to take this L and turn it into a W, and it's I don't think so, dude.
Yeah, that idea that you're going to have any negotiating power when you're conscribing people with Down syndrome, I think it's gone. All your bargaining power is out the window. You guys are pretty desperate. The 3 days that they're going to give you to stop this ceasefire, I might want to use those 3 days to clean up the autistic bodies that are all over the ground.
It's kind of interesting because the more I look into this conflict in Ukraine, it could be
Khazar.
Yeah, well, Khazar or whatever you want to call it. Actually, that's the craziest part, because it could be all of these things. Homeland, we had Cyprian on the show last week, and he was talking about looking at this stuff through not just a political or geopolitical lens, but also a spiritual lens, which kind of doesn't make sense for this Eastern region. But when he broke it down, I was like, holy shit, man. Apparently, the Russian language is like it derives from the Slavic language, and the Slavic language comes from the Eastern Orthodox Church. So it's deeply rooted in this Christian orthodoxy, this kind of religion. Now, when you look at Ukraine, we realize that they are persecuting Orthodox Christian churches, and they are, rounding them up, kicking them. And that's like a side note to the other things that are happening there. We're looking at the, we're looking at the Nazis in their training. We're looking at the corruption and the money and all the insanity going on with America funding them. But Russia seems to want Ukraine back, specifically Kiev. And when you look in Kiev, the founding Eastern Christian Orthodox Church is there. It's like a temple. I forget the name of it. I'm trying to look it up. And it seems like it's a very important holy land for them, for Russia. So it's like we're watching another weird holy war. Like one is going on in Israel, and one is going on in Ukraine and Russia. And for some reason, I don't know, a lot of people are okay with like, well, Israel has a right to maintain its land because it's prophesied in the Bible. It's like, well, this was a church that was handed down from the disciples of Jesus Christ. It means a lot to them. Their fucking language is based upon it.
Yeah.
And
Putin is Russian Orthodox, I believe, Russian Orthodox Christian.
Well, I don't know if these guys are actually Christian or if this is like what, but that doesn't matter. Like, again, so is Netanyahu actually Jewish, or like does he observe Judaism? Does he follow the Talmud, or does he read the Torah? I don't know. We can't say, but there are. Yeah, I know. But their intentions certainly are like culturally to maintain this because their people are. So I feel like we're missing a lot of like weird religious connotations that are associated with this war. That's why no one's backing down. But then the question is, well, why doesn't Ukraine want to give this up? Why do they want this? They're not even.
Why
Christian
are they willing
nation.
to fucking conscribe, their special needs percentage of the population? Why are they conscribing old people? Why are they what's so fucking, what's interesting too is
the same thing with Israel, right? Like for most of these people are sodomite atheists that don't believe in anything, but they have to protect this holy land.
And it's like cosmopolitans. Did I hear?
Yeah, they all are. And then it leads you to questions like, well, why? Like, what is it about this place? What is so special about this? Like, I think that there is there's something special about these locations, which is why they're fighting over like a little piece of land in the desert. Besides like it being a good port, there's plenty of good ports in the world, but you're going to devote years of your resources to fighting this war that just kind of never stops for a warm water port. I don't know. It's hard to believe. There's something else going on.
It's interesting if you go back to when I guess it was as soon as things really popped off with Ukraine and Russia, and Putin was giving these talks where he's talking about the state of the West, and he's talking about how we are immersed in Satanism. And a lot of people were speculating that the reason he was saying that is because he knows how to inflame the culture of the West, right? It's like we're always locked in this sort of satanic panic, conversation. And so a lot of people were speculating that he was just leveraging that conversation to, have people lose faith in their institutions here in the West.
Oh, David, it's called the Pershk Lavra. That's the name of this. It's like a monastery.
Right. But what I'm getting at is I'm then left to ask, because I don't really put a lot of stock in whether or not world leaders are actually Christian. I have no idea. There's no way to, like you said, you don't know if Benjamin Netanyahu is this or that, or if Putin is this or that. I mean, you even had that thing with Trump where he's like praying to the Archangel Michael, but he's also
I think they're all Kabbalists, to be honest. Or
he went to the wall. He did the whole thing. He cried. He did the prayer. He wore the yarmulke. And there's an article that talks about his transitioning into Judaism, like from 4 years ago or something like that. I found that I was reading it the other day. I don't know how true it is, but with that being said, it is interesting to me because if you entertain the idea that Putin actually is a devout Russian Orthodox Christian, then it totally changes the filter that narrative passes through when he goes, the West is in the grips of, Luciferian ideology or whatever.
Me and Jules actually talked about this a lot in our. It'll be out in a few weeks because I did a Temple of Set the other day, and me and him broke down kind of like the philosophy of it, and we really got down to the roots of it, and kind of the idea of like kind of Kabbalah, black magicians, and like how these people manipulate reality at the tippy top. And so like if you did have one of these quote unquote, good people or Christians or people that are actual, genuine, not like just playing these, magic, the manipulating the masses type stuff, black magic, and not lying to you, that these people, that there would be, if you did see that maybe you would see something like, Putin. Obviously, I disagree, in like a lot of the stuff he's done, and generally I think war's not, but obviously he has a different mindset than us when it comes to as a world leader. It's not that crazy that if he was like a genuine Christian of some sort, that he would kind of have this bucking the establishment type of thing. Although I have my alternate theories on that too, because I remember a while ago I noticed that Israel was voting in favor on some of the Russia type stuff, and that got me a little bit schizoing. Like, oh shit, was this all just some fucking smoke screen to distract and essentially give Ukraine the Versailles Treaty treatment, essentially, where they get led down the primrose path, their people get fleeced of everything along the way, that wealth gets outsourced to elites within their own country and other countries and other people, and then by the end they're just as fucked as the Germans are post World War I. I could see that as well, and this is all just like a way to, in the process, that while they're doing that, they're fucking, they're siphoning off that wealth, and they're, weakening the Middle East while everyone's distracted with what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Everyone's giving that the priority, acting like we're going to go to World War III, when in fact it's Russia's over, or Israel's over in the corner, slowly picking off their enemies and making the game a little bit smoother for them, but. And now I think we're in crunch time, where it's like they're at a point where like they're really trying to make shit happen. I think they've played all their cards, and I don't know where this is going to go. We've been seeing some weird military ads and stuff of the like recently, so it's like I don't know. The war tunes are there, but I also do feel I do not feel the same spirit of war that we have in the past when these things try to happen. Like I feel the spirit of war from the elites that want it to happen, but I do not feel it from the people. Like so, I don't. If this does happen, I think it's. I don't know if it'll last long or what, but it doesn't have an organic. I don't feel like there's a real organic component of like wanting. It has
It has a Chatham House rules feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. That seems like there's details that we're not privy to. That this thing is a little bit more rich than we imagine. It's not just a geopolitical situation.
All right, now I have this other story here that's mostly, it might just be funny for me because I saw this and it was hilarious. This is U.S. Navy loses F-18 fighter jet during a Houthi attack in Red Sea. The A just means for attack, so it's an F-18.
Oh, this is one that rolled off? Just rolled off?
Yeah, it just kind of rolled off. They didn't fucking put the
according to them, the 60 million jet was actively under tow in the hangar bay when the move crew lost control of the aircraft. The aircraft and tow tractor were lost overboard. So, I mean, for those, they attach to the front of these a big giant, tow vehicle, and it pulls it along. So it literally and it has a tow bar that connects the two. And so literally, I guess what happened is they said they were missile, essentially missile. They were, thought they either thought there was a Houthi attack incoming because they're over in the Red Sea over by the Yemenis. And they, I guess, took diversionary tactics to kind of move the carrier out of the way. And by doing that, they kind of lurched the kind of deal. And from there, that disrupted the tow that was going on, and then bloop, bloop, all off the sea. So we just lost $60 million in the Red Sea during a tow. Which to me, I guess I've done so many aircraft tows. I was a aircraft mechanic for like over a decade in the active duty, and so like I've done a bajillion fucking tows. Like I towed all the fucking time, and so it's just the idea of that like. I don't know, just, bloop, just right the sea. It's just
so how does this? Well, if you've done this, Jose, how does this?
Well, I've never done it on an aircraft carrier, so it's like I've done it in like normal. Like I didn't work on carriers. I worked in I only deployed once, and when I deployed, it was on solid ground in in Qatar. Like that's
so
what
it's just like it's just like an oversight. Like somebody just
Jose, you were in Qatar,
in a fucking place.
Yeah, there's a IUD air base is there. That's a very common military base.
Did they pay you, Jose? Did they pay you? Is that why you're here? Doing
I mean, I did get paid while I was there. I mean, it was by the U.S. military, but I guess in a roundabout way, you could say it was sort of from Qatar by housing me there. So it is weird, actually, when the whole Qatar thing was popping up recently. Like we have. Like America's had solid relations with Qatar for a good while. So like this whole Qatar thing. You're like, yeah, maybe they are funding stuff around the side, but like I don't know, they're acting like there's some big scary spook, and it's like, no, they're really not.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
question, Jose.
Yeah. What's up?
So if you just wet that thing, it just breaks the plane.
What's that?
You just wet it. The plane
Yeah,
there.
I was kind of thinking, I was like, damn, they can't just recover the shit from the ocean. I don't know how quickly they can scramble to get that sort of thing done. I don't know if they've got like a crane on board or something, but
I don't know.
It
I
just
feel
feels like, damn, you just watch that bitch sink and you go, that's it.
I guess
It
so.
looks
I
like
mean,
it would float, like with the wings too. It's like, what happened?
I mean, I've never put a plane in the water, and nothing about my training as an aircraft mechanic in the military prepared me for dealing with the idea of planes in water. But I would just assume, I guess, yeah, it's 60 million, but the amount of repair that would be required for that vehicle, that if you were able to somehow exhume it from the sea, the amount of repair that would take would probably be basically cash anyways. I don't know. It'd be so waterlogged, all the electrical components screwed out, everything would probably be just jacked. And but even let's that aside, it's like, can you imagine how cost prohibitive it would be to take out a fighter jet in a sea in like essentially a hostile area? Like,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't think you could just drop anchor and start fucking scuba diving for.
even if it wasn't hostile, it's like, how the fuck are you getting a plane out of the sea? It's just kind of like, I think
You
it's
gotta
a
fly
sea
it
now.
out. You gotta fly it out, dog.
You gotta fly it out of the ocean. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Somebody in the chat said put it in rice, which is exactly.
I don't know. A lot of it's a lot of fucking rice. A lot. You need to get one of your UFOs, dude, because those things come out of the water all the time, and they seem fine. So I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this thing.
The Air Force hasn't gotten, or not at least the regular Air Force hasn't gotten access to that technology yet. They don't have that.
Too fair, it's
still...
probably Navy, but yeah.
No,
all right, now let's get into
the
let's get into the pee pee poo poo semi big brain content that we're here
fucking
for.
with Laura Loomer.
Yeah, there's a Laura Loomer. This is fucking freak. I didn't even realize it was Laura Loomer when I got it at first, but it was just, I saw it and I was like, oh, this is perfect. It says Mark Zuckerberg.
This is going to be about the Jews again, right? And the only reason I'm guessing that isn't because of Laura Loomer, but because of Theo Vaughn and where Theo Vaughn has found himself lately. He's the Jew guy.
That right there, Berg. Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
We got Mark Zuckerberg. I guess this video is, Theo Vaughn, and supposedly he has Mark Zuckerberg on saying he has underground tunnels. As you guys know, the show, it's mostly reaction. It could be completely bullshit and like kind of just be understandable. I don't know. I could understand if it was super rich.
See, look at this goofy motherfucker,
know,
bro.
right?
When did he become like Jack Harlow? What the fuck happened to what is this guy's name? Mark Zuckerberg. I don't understand. This is very strange. He does jujitsu.
He's
got a gold necklace,
glasses on. He's killing it.
Yeah. All right.
I don't like it. But all right, let's but yeah, this is just a video. I don't know. This could be complete bullshit given it's Loomer. Maybe she's being a faggot about this. She is common to do that. But either way, let's have some fun and analyze if we think there's deep and dark stuff going on in Zuck's tunnels. So let's hear what he has to say.
California, you're like a damn emperor, dude. Does that feel like that ever?
No. Man, it's like I feel like I wish that people did what I wanted them to do. It's like that would be fun. But in the meantime, you can have some fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would have a chopper. I don't even know what I would have. I would have an underground tunnel. Even that it came right back up next to where it started.
I do have an underground tunnel.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I gotta say that was smooth by Theo.
This is cool, dude.
I
like Mark
he
Zuckerberg.
slipped that shit in there.
Yeah. I like him. He's like, I have that. I
don't like the way he's sitting. He's like fucking very up here, and I like when Theo's like, "You're the emperor," and he goes, "I'm not the emperor, but I do wish people would listen to me. That would be neat." Like, what the fuck, bro?
Hey man, if I was like super rich, I think I would like to have my own little like rape dungeon where you keep my little Ethiopian boys that they procure from the internationals. And he goes, "Oh yeah, I have one of those."
I love that. I do. Whatever propaganda they're using with Mark Zuckerberg, it's working on me. I enjoy him now.
I don't like him. He still freaks me out. He just reminds me of just some dork trying not to be a dork. And you're like, dude, leave me alone. You're a dork. I don't know.
Okay. I know I'm a schizo, and I know that I speculate heavily, unfoundedly and heavily. But I've been watching Theo for a while now, and it first got on my radar when he said that his last name, it was like Von Kernikowski or some shit, and that means the Jew Slayer.
Kill the Jewsteins.
Give me the fucking Jew Slayer.
That's cool.
Somebody told me that wasn't true, and then I went looking, and I'm like, it fucking says it. That's what Von Kernikowski means. So anyway, he's the Jew Slayer, and then I catch another clip of him on Rogan talking about the Jews, and I'm like, it's weird. And then I catch another clip of him on his own show, and he's got some chick sitting there with him, and they basically have like a diagram, and Theo Vaughn is freaking the fuck out about he's like, look, man, the CO is Jewish, the CEO is Jewish, fucking all the way down. Everybody that runs it is Jewish. And I'm like, What is
What's
this?
happening?
This is a Bernie Madoff with your money scenario. This is an Anthony Weiner showed a child his wiener situation. This is a Theo the Jew Slayer is now slaying the Jews situation.
I've said this before too. I guess I don't know. It was a conversation with Lewis, and we were talking about like he was like, listen, like basically like things are changing. You know, like we're gonna things will have to be a little bit more conservative. It's about the Jew stuff that I talk about. Theo Vaughn was mentioning, he was like, Theo Vaughn, you know, like they're just not going to mess with that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm looking at Theo Vaughn now. It's not even 6 months since that conversation. I'm like, geez, dude.
I was just taking a dump before this show, and I was literally giggling at Shane Gillis and Theo Vaughn in a clip I was watching, fucking talking about the Jew tunnels. Like they're like just going over, like, oh, look at that Jew coming out that tunnel. Like just both of them just going hard.
They're doing comedy. They're doing what's. Before we continue, I wanted to do this at the 33-minute mark, but we're go ahead and follow.
Now the occult working won't happen. Now the magic won't work. Great.
Yes, my Kabbalistic magic will not work. I'm rating Jose's channel from Rumble, and I put the link on the YouTube on our YouTube. So if you're watching us on Nephilim Death Squad on YouTube or Rumble, click the link, go over there, raid the channel, because the stream will be ending on our side in just a minute. So go ahead,
like, share, and subscribe, homosexuals.
Like, share, and subscribe to everybody. Yeah, and if you're on Jose's thing, go like our. Actually, don't.
Yeah,
you're not gonna like our channel.
Yeah,
you're like
probably not. Yeah,
probably not.
It doesn't seem like it's
very
for you.
frustrating for you guys.
These guys are too religious.
Well, I don't know. I take that back. There's a weird crossover. As I mentioned before, the 80-20. So I think between both of our audiences, probably like 20% that would be receptive to the other audience, I think, if I had to guess. So there's a little bit of crossover, I think. So try it out. Try it out, people. Especially of my religious folks. You guys cover more religious type content, and I'm a little more jaded when it comes to that. So I try not to be a faggot about it, but I don't cover that shit like at all. So place to go. But yeah, let's with that, I guess let's finish. See what this Jew has to say about his tunnels. So
in USA,
this ranch in Kauai,
this ranch in Kauai.
There's this whole thing where people were like, there's this whole meme about how people are saying I built this like bunker underground. It's like more of underground storage situation. But yeah, no, it's
Have you guys interacted with any Zoomers that are regularly or anything? Because I know I have one guy that at my work that's like a younger fella. He's probably like 19, and something about this guy's mannerisms remind me of him. And so I don't know if it's a Zoomer thing.
I don't know if it's a Zoomer thing, but I'm picking up on it. It is like if Elon Musk was a Zoomer. Exactly like if you close your eyes and you imagine like a younger with a broccoli haircut,
broccoli hair,
Elon Musk
trying to be cool, kind of the way he talks, and
yeah. He's got it sounds just like him. So it's the autism, and then it's whatever he thinks.
Well,
is
it's
cool.
like if you're a preacher, you're going to use this Southern Baptist cadence.
That's true.
If you're trying to reach the young crowd, you're going to talk like Zoomer. You're going to do jujitsu or whatever is cool now, and have your fucking broccoli haircut. I've been doing this shit since the 3rd grade, so fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg.
Can't help it. I mean, I can't, so it is what it is. When I was young, I really wanted to have a Jewfro. Now I'm kind of glad. It looks fucking gross, so sorry.
Thanks.
Very bad.
Oh, wow. Zucky got that bunky. What's under the ground? There's more water, right?
It's basically what you just said. It's sort of a tunnel that just goes to another building.
Yeah.
What's the other building, Mark?
It's a good place to hide a little bit of dope, though. That's what I would say, dude. Those are the good. That's what I would do anyway. But
not child slaves, totally.
You and I differ there.
Yeah. You've never used drugs or.
Okay,
I don't know.
Can you pause this? Theo's doing the same thing that Rogan does, but he's doing it.
Dare really worked on me.
Oh, it's
Dare
really worked on me.
But go ahead.
So Theo's doing the same thing that Rogan does. Rogan has kind of done this genius thing of like he plays the idiot, and then he kind of like. He denies the outlandish claims of his guests, and he gives them pushback, and that allows them to elaborate, and then it wins over the audience to their side of the argument, and Rogan gets to play that part.
Yeah, he's doing this close to talking about child sex slaves.
Yeah, exactly. So what Theo does is the same as Rogan, but he has a lot more room to open up strange concepts because Theo is strange, and that's a lot of what I do.
Funnier. He's also
Theo's
funnier.
A lot funnier. But I recognize what he's doing. Like
Zuck would say, the child sex slaves. He'd go, "Oh, whoa, man, that's wild. Tell me more." Like he would make you feel. You could literally talk about child sex slaves to Theo Vaughn, and you'd feel like this guy's vibing with you, and you're like, "I think he digs what I'm into."
Like, shit, man, we had a couple of them things when I was growing up. Child sex.
But he's just riffing.
He's just talking shit. Yeah. So I recognize what he's doing because it's very much what I do. I act insane And that what that does is it allows me the room to behave however I want, because now nothing I do surprises you.
That's right, Steve
Theo,
Wilkos.
yes, that's right, Steve Wilkos. Theo does the same thing, and he weaves together such strange sentences that he's now in a realm where, like, we believe he's an innocent, lovable, autistic country bumpkin, and that allows him to present any topic he wants. He can slide it across the table, and no one will go, "Was that malicious? Was that bad? Are you doing a bad thing?"
He just called me a nigger. It's like,
Theo wouldn't do that. Theo is a sweet country baby boy who just says funny stuff. So I think that's what he's done here. Is he's carved out a really unique place for himself, and now he's going to steer the narrative to the Jews.
It's not unique. He's copying me. This is like just lie to the people. It's easy.
I mean, he does something very different, right?
I will say he is copying me in a sense. He doesn't know who I am, but
no, he stole it from you.
He completely stole it from me in a sense of like you present them this like this dolt of a person, kind of lull them to sleep with comedy, and then they give you facts, and you go, tell me more about that, and then you dig. Like we had the fucking guy on, I don't know, the guy that was doing the crop circles, and basically, I got him to admit it was like, I showed him some sigils of Solomon, like summoning demons. I was like, any of these look familiar? And he's like, yeah, that one. I put that in a field. I was like, that's a fucking sigil for a demon, dog. It's like, what are you doing? So it's like, we've lulled you to sleep with how stupid we are, but then kind of like catch you with these weird admissions. But he's doing it on a very high level.
Yeah, he's doing it on one of the highest levels for sure.
I wish I could talk to fucking Mark Zuckerberg and get him all jammed up like this. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think we could probably get him to talk about the child sex slaves. Just gotta sell it in like that's cool, man. That's totally what I'd do if I was super rich. Speaking of people who do that sort of thing when they're super rich, here's Max Blumenthal, and he's saying there's a video, I guess, where the key thing people are getting out here is the masters of the universe are Jews. I watched a little bit this morning, so it's not a pure reaction. But boy, oh boy, I thought this was going to be them just overplaying it, kind of a clickbait. I mean, Max Blumenthal is pretty good about not doing that. But no, this is about as bad as you think, if not even worse. So let's go ahead and play this.
A majority of Gen Z have an unfavorable impression of Israel. And my friends, I think the reason for that is that we're losing the digital war. Okay, they're getting their information from TikTok and whatever it is, and we're losing that war. When you think about it, the masters of the universe are Jews. We've got Altman and AI, we got Zuckerberg, we got Sergey Brin, we got the whole group across the board. Jan Combs, founded WhatsApp. It's us, and we have to figure out a way to win the digital battle. Amelia, we got to get our digital sneakers on so that the truth can prevail over the lies. And when we do that, the future of Israel will be stronger because a majority of all Americans will support Israel. We'll make that happen. We have to make it happen. Thank you.
That literally making his hand.
Yeah, literally making a call for essentially, he's not explicitly saying censorship, but he is saying hey, they're winning the internet game. We need to step up our internet game. Oh, we're the masters of the universe. Lists a bunch of Jews that leading up tech organizations, and then goes, we really need to work on this game. And we're the masters of the universe, listing like an assortment, just essentially saying the quiet part out loud and saying, hey, Jews, I know you own all these platforms. We got to do some shit. So like what you got to do? I don't know. He's leaving that part open.
He's calling for a Cass Sunstein like style intervention where he's like, we need more Jew influencers. We need more Jews out there spreading our information. It's exactly, that's a cognitive infiltration.
Is like, I love the argument that the Jews aren't the Jews of the Bible. But then when they do shit like this, you're like, this is just like modern day Pharisee stuff. Like this is exactly what you did before. You took the word of God, and then, when God comes down in human form and says, no, I am the law, you go, no, we are actually the masters of the universe. And then you just continue to extrapolate that, create the Talmud. And it's like, it's the same exact attitude. I think
didn't it feel like a Joe Biden moment? Like if you had Joe, right now, it's very important that you go out and you do damage control. There's a lot of anti-Semitism on the rise. You need to get out there. You need to dispel that shit. And he goes out there and he goes, Jews are the masters of the universe. Like, what the fuck, dude? Holy shit. That's not what we told you to do.
But all right, let's move on to the next story. Is J.D. Vance related to the famous military Satanist Michael Aquino?
I thought you were going to say, did he kill the Pope? Yes.
Yeah, and to lead into this, I thought we'd go into what I think is probably the sickest, hardest fucking JD Vance meme I've ever seen. It says, and the internet spoke to the man, behold, your very form shall be my canvas. And this is actually for those who are deep science fiction nerds. This is actually a book where like futuristic where they change all these humans into all these weird different variations through like, you know, genetic manipulation. And here's all just different versions of JD Vance because I know he's become a meme. And we're going to continue the meme by digging into is he also the son of probably, I guess I'd say one of the original meme magicians, black magicians, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Not JD Vance, Michael Aquino, who I've covered quite a bit recently in his super duper glowy up, the Temple of Set. So you know, look at this guy. By the way, this is JC, I believe, Not Dying for Israel, that shared this. Thanks, buddy. You know, guys, also throw it out there. Guys, tag me and stuff. That's how this show kind of works. You guys tag me and stuff in social media. I typically cover most of the stuff you do. But I've seen this doing the rounds, people saying that they're related. Let's kind of explore this together. Just the original tweet. I haven't looked through this yet. I've seen people talking about online that JD Vance is somehow related to Michael Aquino.
God, I hope it's true.
Yeah, right? Someone's saying this is his biological father. Prove me wrong. Obviously, I mentioned Michael Aquino, but he was an American political scientist, military officer, and Satanist. He was a founder and high priest of the Temple of Set. He was also a specialist in psychological warfare for military intelligence and an officer in the U.S. Army. He also was originally one of the OGs in the Church of Satan with Anton LaVey, and then he spawned off from that. But
Which is funny
never mind.
When people say Anton LaVey it's just a LARP. Like, I mean, to some degree, the Church of Satan is a LARP, but
yes.
You can't deny those connections. It's like, what, he's got a direct line to military intelligence? Cool. That's fucking sure. That's not nefarious at all. I like that they're being connected because there's an eye thing, right? Like eyeliner, eyebrows. I do like that.
He has a weird.
It's like a continuing of the tradition. It's a little bit changed, you know, but it's still there. The heart of it is still there. Really, what it is when he goes to split you open and drink your adrenalized blood, the eyes that you see, the last set of eyes that you see, they have to be diabolical. And where he used to have the eyebrows, now his son has the eyeliner. Still. Same effect.
They bring out the meme version of JD Vance with like the Jerry curls, like the fat one that's just kind of staring and creepy. Yeah,
they've made him. There's CRISPR technology. They have made that a real JD Vance, and he is the last thing a lot of people see. A lot of prisoners of war and MK Ultra victims.
Now I will say, go ahead.
JD does have like deep ties to Altman and different kinds of AI, right?
Yeah,
like that's his background.
He's basically a Peter Thiel's butt slut.
That ties into what's going on with this Operation Stargate, the new Operation Stargate.
Yeah,
and the old Operation Stargate, which we think is pretty much the same thing, but it's like now it's revamped with technology, so it seems more presentable to the public since everybody has this thing in their hand now. So, are you familiar with Operation Stargate? What it is, what it was, what they were doing?
Vaguely. Give a recap for my audience. I've never really covered that. So,
all right. In the 70s, I believe it was the DNI, right? It wasn't the CIA that's running this.
No.
Yeah, the DNI was running this op called Operation Stargate, and
DNI. Is that another intel agency I'm not aware of? Because I know that's a director of national intelligence, I think, or maybe I'm mixing up my terms.
I know it wasn't the CIA.
Yeah, it was like OSS or something, or because OSS was a typical precursor, but I believe that acronym is familiar, so I just don't remember.
Yeah, I'll get you the correct acronym in a second because I'm a retard. But basically this program was focused on remote viewing, and they were remote viewing during the Cold War, so they actually had some proven documents that they were doing this shit and seeing what people were doing in government facilities to the point where like the government facilities would start to. Yeah,
the DIA. Those guys are all Scientologists, right?
Yeah. The Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA. Okay. Sorry.
All right, there we go. That's
weird. I'm also getting the DNI and the ODNI are also actively involved.
They fucking rebrand this stuff so much, it's insane. But it kind of goes. This also goes hand in hand with Operation Sunstreak, which they just declassified, where they were remote viewing the Ark of the Covenant. I don't know if you remember this a couple of weeks ago, Jose.
Yeah, I saw it. Was a while ago. It was kind of a silly story because it's actually from like forever ago. And yeah.
But it's from the 70s.
Yeah.
So they were doing this, but among other things that they were doing was like extraterrestrial communication. So that goes into like Uri Geller's work and this current phenomenon of C5 that we have now, where people summon like alien craft. They do like rituals, and these things come and they appear in the sky, or they come down to them.
Yeah, a lot of it is just it's just telepathic communication. So they don't even necessarily have to do rituals. They just have to get themselves in like the right state of mind through meditative processes, and then fucking, usher in UFOs.
And one of the tools that they were using heavily, this I forget her name, this woman named Karen. Again, I have it's like old notes that I've had pulled up from a while ago. She, they use techniques like the Ouija board or sex magic and shit like this to do this stuff. This is just what they're documenting. And now we have Operation Stargate, again, the same name. It's focused around AI, but I have my suspicions that this AI is like this chatbot AI stuff is basically just a Ouija board, a technological Ouija board. So it's like picking up, it's a continuation of what was left off if it ever stopped, and it's just picking up again. Now you have the Vice President of the United States that's kind of behind this or has deep ties to this AI kind of stuff. And it's a battle going on. So we're going to see if Sam Altman will win, or we'll see if Elon Musk will win this battle. But it's moving forward, and there's something weird, something nefarious about it.
There's how do I say this? I haven't gone down those roads like you have, but I feel like I've come at this stuff from sort of different angles. As I mentioned, as you mentioned, the remote viewers, pretty much damn near all of them were Scientologists, is my understanding, as I mentioned, which is more significant than you would think if you start to understand the history of Scientology, and then actually particularly how that ties into the Process Church, which is a straight up like a satanic like thing. And just kind of how, when you start digging this, you realize how glowy all of this shit is. And then, to tie it back into Peter Thiel, there are a lot of weird connections there. For example, actually, I guess we can kind of jump ahead, because I'll go ahead and let you guys know this one is kind of fucking whack. I just looked in it. Fuck you, JC. There was nothing else other than that picture and that one thing. I assumed there was going to be more information. You tricked me, you dirty slut. But, kind of connecting this touch, here's Tom Chaos O'Neill. He's the guy who wrote Chaos, the noted, Manson book. And he kind of leaves out a lot of the stuff in his book about how do I put this, about Manson's connection to the Process Church, and then conversely the Process Church connection to Scientology. And because there is a direct connection with Manson and Scientology, he even in the prison was straight up saying while he was there, he's studying Scientology. So
all these motherfuckers are connected. Every single one of these. You look into whatever the guy's L. Ron Hubbard, and he's connected to fucking Jack Parsons, and they're all. It's just one big incestual loop. It's like all your favorite characters from that era were all they were all homies.
Yeah, but kind of what I'm driving here is I'm convinced that, or semi-convinced, I guess I could be convinced otherwise easily, that like the Peter Thiels of the world are like some sort of component of a newer version of the Process Church, or tied into it in some way, especially once you know some of Peter Thiel's indiscretions, like his little model boy toy that got died, and how like literally that house that he died in 2 years prior to that was owned by the Bronfmans, who were involved in the Nixon cult or whatever. So it's like all these weird connections, and you realize who these people are. This guy's literally messaging college students as like a one of the richest men in the world to come to his house and have weird sex parties like gay dudes. And I see all sorts of weird connections, and then him being close homies with O'Neill, and O'Neill omitting any mention of this stuff. There's just kind of when you understand these connections and see these things, you start to go, what the fuck is going on here? And kind of, I guess, to tie that back into your point with like the remote viewing and the Scientologists, it's like, I'm not saying remote viewing's not real, and I'm not saying they're lying entirely. I'm just saying I don't trust a goddamn word they say. Like, that's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? Especially knowing the spooks that kind of reside up into including Scientologists, which is like the spooks of the spooks, in my opinion. Like, that's like next level spookdom. It's basically like up to their gills in intel. It's a kind of a perfect little haven for the intel world. But yeah, we have Tom O'Neill here talking about being homies with Thiel, so I thought maybe that would kind of tie into that. But there's other threads I've gone into on that. And if you guys are ever interested, I'd recommend getting Dana Duda on the show. She's really great on this topic. But yeah, what
was her name?
It's wild shit. Dana Duda. She also sometimes Rotting Jewels.
I just made some shit up.
Yeah, I know, right? It sounds like a
this guy just made a fucking noise at us.
No, Dana Duda, like DANA.
Dana Duda. Okay, Dana Duda. Okay.
I think she's like that on Twitter. I think her YouTube's like Rotting Jewels, one word or something like that. Okay. So Great coverage. Her RSS feed's like, what is the process? So she's covered a shitload of the process. But my point being is that you can approach this from different ways, and I think when you have both understanding of both sides, things gives you a clear understanding of what's going on. Not saying I'm right or that you were right, just kind of I think we both had different sides of the story in a sense. So, but yeah, let's watch this video, see if we catch anything interesting in this.
But where we went to the holiday party, who's behind it from?
Oh yeah.
Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
So Peter Thiel, who created PayPal and has basically got JD Vance elected and is a
This is gonna get me in trouble. Go ahead.
So give the history of like how he got in touch with you and what your relationship has been.
Yeah. So I can't remember if it was after Rogan. After Rogan, I started getting a lot of people reaching out to me because he's got such a massive audience. I think it must have been after. So Thiel's guy, his inside guy that arranges stuff for him, reached out and said, Peter Thiel would love to have you up to his house for a dinner. I'm like, well, what does that entail? And he said, well, he has a dinner party. He tries to do it once a week, and he has a different guest every week. And we just kind of wine and dine you and hope that you'll talk to us and tell us about what you do. And like I said, politically, I'm the opposite of him. And this was in 2020. So actually Trump was still president. And Thiel famously was the first openly gay man to speak at the Republican convention when he endorsed him. And Trump wanted to put him in the cabinet in some kind of national security advisors or something. And I don't think it's a secret. Thiel told me this in confidence, but I'm sure he
Radio Tom.
Yeah. He just said he was going to do it until he read the disclosure forms and all the stuff he had to disclose about his life.
Yeah.
And he said, I wasn't willing to share that with the federal government. So I turned him down and I said, I'll informally advise you. I actually like him. He's a nice guy. And so I went to the dinner and it was about a dozen people. One of them was an old friend of yours, the guy that profiles you for the New York Times.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Neil Strauss.
Neil Strauss.
He was great. I liked him. And then they invited me back the next week. And ever since then, I get invited to Christmas parties and events. And I got invited to a movie this past weekend that he screened.
Yeah, so the close homies with Thiel. I do want to mention, I did one on a thread this a while ago, one of Dana Dudaw's threads actually, exploring the co-author of Chaos, who is like, basically it seems like straight up some sort of guy super into demonology and seems like Satanism and very much a spooky, weird guy. And especially if you understand the connections of Manson to the process and kind of their belief system, it does kind of raise questions of like, what the fuck is going on here? And especially the idea of the things he omitted that were pretty obvious, because I don't think he really touched on the Scientology connection like at all, and definitely not the process connection. So it is one of those things where you look at like, why'd you omit this? Like, what is going on? And then especially when you look at the people he's connected, his co-author Thiel, I think gets me a little bit concerned as well. Fun fact though, Greg Fitzsimmons, the hilarious video that every once in a great while you might see go around of Fitzsimmons, he's the one that's going to Joe Rogan and say, hey, say it, and then Rogan goes, nigger. That's Greg Fitzsimmons.
Yeah. He's also the same guy that bought that book Chaos to his attention. I think they used to be like neighbors or something. These two dudes, Tom and Greg, or maybe still are neighbors. But
well, he's obviously spooked then, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. It's an interesting conversation though, because whenever you talk about these things, like you come at it from one side and we come at it from the other side, and some people will kind of dismiss like the satanic, or not dismiss the satanic aspect of that keeps popping up, right? Because there's like themes that show themselves over and over again the more you do this research, and you can sort of put the satanic thing to the side as a weird backdrop, maybe even a red herring, something to bring the public in one direction when that's not really the case and what's going on. But when you look at the resources they're dedicating to the research of things like remote viewing and how those two things, I mean, remote viewing itself is, if it is real, right, you have to imagine that this is potentially a dipping into maybe the spiritual realm that people have been alluding to for all this time. And so when you have those two things in conjunction, right, this satanic element that keeps showing itself, this military intelligence element that keeps showing itself, and this strange psychic phenomenon element that keeps showing itself. I mean, it kind of seems like the great connective tissue. If we're talking about Aquino, or we're talking about L. Ron Hubbard, or any of these characters, they're all fascinated in that thing. It's like, what do you do? What can you do to the human mind? What sort of latent psychic abilities can you, and to the extent that they are willing to, and look, obviously a lot of funding gets dumped into bunk projects that never amount to anything. I'm sure that happens. And I'm sure when you have that sort of federal funding coming in, and it's also non-traceable, right? Because it's going into some black project and nobody's ever going to fucking ask questions or audit this. You can kind of just do whatever you want. So I'm not saying the virtue of dumping money into research makes the research valid, but it's never gone away. It's never gone away. It's been since the inception of the fucking CIA. It's been since, the Nazis in World War II, obviously way before that, I'm sure. but it's never gone away. They've never saw fit to stop funding research into that genre. And then you watch the way that those concepts bleed into the culture. You know, like we're sitting here in 2025 and all these, I was watching fucking Stranger Things the other day and I never even picked up on the first season. You know, you rewatch it with new eyes and it's like, they're just sitting there talking about, where did 11 come from? Well, I've been looking into this program. It's called MK Ultra, and they take these children and they torture them, and it causes a dissociative identity disorder. And then she's using fucking sensory deprivation tanks to go to this place. Like, it's never left. It's never gone away. And I look at media as we, you know, absorb it as just part of the propaganda machine, and that's an asset of theirs. So whether or not it's military intelligence looking into this, or it's some you know, insane programs where they're creating kind of the satanic panic thing, or they're steering culture one way or another, it's still fucking here. It tells me that it's really important to them, and it suggests that they found out something pretty significant.
Yeah, and I think I think it is a thing that's been kind of almost time immemorial. As I keep go back to Aquino because it's kind of what's recent on my mind. Like I said, just the episode last night, but prior to Aquino, you had Aquino's Temple Set, you had Anton LaVey's Church of Satan, and they had, if you look at, like, in which I've analyzed in my recent episode on it, is if you look at the structure of the two, they are basically damn near the same. Everything's basically the same except for Temple Set's slightly more woo-woo, but really, if you kind of analyze it, it's kind of not. It depends on how you interpret it, but point being is it's very much only a slightly different, it's just window dressing change with maybe some slightly different, structuring changes, kind of like, oh, we're going to be more exclusive here, this, that. But then you have before Church of Satan, you had Aleister Crowley with his OTO, and you can kind of just keep going on and on and on. And they have very similar structures. Always just some group, like usually one person or multiple people at the top, that then receive some sort of information from some special something or other, and then they disperse it out. And then a lot of times too, if you do really analyze what they're saying, it's kind of like, what are they really? You have to dig through the woo-woo language and realize, are they? Because like when I was analyzing Temple Set, it sounds like they're saying that they worship themselves and they don't even believe in other entities, like other supernatural entities. And if their belief is almost as if there even is a supernatural entity, it's a universal consciousness of some sort. So you're going to lose your ego in it. You're going to essentially become one with everyone in kind of this amorphous, sort of semi-conscious entity, but I would say that conglomeration would not be a conscious entity because you can't combine all the consciousnesses and have a consciousness. I know it makes no sense.
Well, they hide behind that. They go like, oh, the Church of Satanism isn't about worshiping Satan; it's about worshiping yourself. And it's like, yeah, that's been the thing the entire time. The serpent in the garden didn't come and say, "Worship me, I'm your God now." It said, "You can be as God."
Yeah.
Right. So it's never been about worshiping this other entity in particular. It's in fact, it seems more often these people who do recognize that these spiritual entities exist, and you could push them on that, whether or not that's true isn't they believe it. So they're communicating with these things, but it doesn't appear as much of a servant relationship as much as it seems like a mutually beneficial one. We give you XYZ, you give us this thing, these riches here in this realm, or access or control. So I see people use that, like, you guys are dicking around with that female toad on Tower Gang, and she's going off about how she's saying, oh well, she goes, hail Satan, hail me, right? She says it at the end, and it's like that's the point right there. The trick isn't, it's much easier to get you to engage in self-worship than it is to get you to admit that there are entities and now you have to worship one of them. That's just the way people are. You can get us to worship ourselves a lot easier.
There's also this like weird trickery that's being used. Like, I just read the Talmud, read how it'll explain and justify something, and then a couple of volumes later, it'll explain and justify that same thing, but in the opposite manner. So it's like this like weird postmodern kind of post-truth. And then when you ask somebody on it, they'll be like, oh, well, you're not reading it correctly. It actually means this. But all it means is that like we have really no definition for what we're doing, for you at least. So that leaves me to speculate as much as the fuck I want. And from what it looks like you guys are worshiping other entities. You could say that you're not, but your texts tell you to lie and subvert and basically make excuses every single way that you can to obfuscate what you're actually doing. So I'm looking at, well, what have you created from this? And it's always nothing good. So I'm just going to assume probably the worst of what your intentions are.
I do think they're definitely doing fucked up shit. They're definitely doing, and now whether they believe in another separate entity or if they're just worshiping themselves, and this is like all just expressions of like, this is the greatest, I'm able to do whatever I want type deal, almost as. And I think I kind of went a little bit of rant on my episode with Jules last night. I think I've been noticing as I've kind of analyzed these, like as I mentioned Thiel earlier, the Elon Musks, I just feel like profound immaturity just like, emanates off of these people. Like you see like Peter Thiel, like literally as a dude probably in his 40s, 50s or whatever, as one of the richest men in the world. He literally was, as I mentioned earlier, like there are like, college kids who've released like straight up like messages of him trying to get him to come to their house for some hard gay fun and stuff. And you're like, what kind of man, as the richest man in the world, is hitting up college children? Like, I know they're adults, but like, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit different because I have a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old, and I've been a dad for a long time, but it's like, that's not, that seems like a profound immaturity to me. And like, I'm actually a pretty extreme individualist when it comes to my philosophy. So I actually see this as like a subversion of individualism, or actually like an immature version of thing. And you kind of brought this meme magic, and think about how everyone talks about Elon Musk, how great he is, this, that. And it's kind of like, and it is in a certain sense, you're almost making him a paragon of like, isn't that so cool? Like how amazing he is. And it gives these people the idea of like sort of something to aim for. And like the more I analyze his life and dig into him, like, what is going on? Like what is this? It seems like profound immaturity. And even if you are looking at it from an individual perspective of like, I'm only here for myself or whatever, or my prime concern is me and doing the things I want to do, I think it shows a profound immaturity and an inability to delay gratification to the extent to actually have a fulfilling and happy life. Because I do not think this is the method to a fulfilling and happy life, even from an individualist or perspective, even like the most nth degree of individualism you can imagine. It doesn't make sense to me that that's the way to go. And I know, as an immature man, we all think, oh, wouldn't it be super cool if we have whores around us all the time and we get to do drugs and alcohol and hang out with our homies and all that. But it's like, and don't get me wrong, we have fun. Like me and you, we're about to go party here soon. We'll probably smoke a little doober, fucking drink a little bit, have some fun. I mean, we won't go nuts. I don't think we're going to be doing crack in the bathroom or anything. But like, we'll have a fun time. But I don't know. That's one time. We move on with our life. We're not going to be like banging whores in the bathroom or doing anything crazy. It just seems like a profound immaturity and something that's being lauded as almost a goal by the common person. But yet it's just an immature goals.
You get to a place where you have so much money, and the material wealth outweighs your relationships, because I think wealth has a way of destroying your relationships. Do you know that brand Salt Life?
Yeah.
It's like always like it's like a sticker on the back of dudes' windows and shit. You got a pickup truck.
Hillbilly Floridians have it on. Yeah.
So that guy, he was 70 something years old. I think he's dead. Either that or he's in jail now. What happened was, in his old age, after he's built this fucking empire, he links up with some chick. She's like 18 years old or 19 years old. Like, and then next thing you know, he's out here, not far from where I live. And he's partying constantly. Like, he's got his own bar or restaurant out there. And one thing leads to another. He's hanging out with like this bitch and all her friends. And something like absolutely terrible goes wrong. I forget what it was. Either he died or it went so wrong that he's in jail. But all I know is because he's now running it. He's 70 fucking years old, and he's running in these circles with like 20-year-old bitches and dudes. It's just it seems to happen a lot. You get so much money, it drives away the people who actually care about you, because your life is, if you don't know how to manage money, it can fuck you up.
Ted K run amok. It's Ted K run amok. And then those surrogate activities. Like, it's the idea that you don't have to care about your actual physical needs are met to such an insane level of degree to where all you have left are essentially surrogate activities. And the surrogate activity might be running a business, but it's like, you don't need to run that business. It's literally a surrogate activity for you.
What
like,
I can't
you're just doing it to do it.
Imagine being a dude. You build this entire empire, the fucking sweat of your brow, your labor, your blood, sweat, and tears go into this thing, and you build it, and it's remarkable, and you've got everything laid out for you until you die, and you go, I want to spend my time with a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
I want to spend my time around a 19-year-old girl. what the fuck are
I'm a
you
poor,
doing,
and I
dude?
can't imagine a worse afternoon.
That sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like an absolute nightmare to be around 19-year-olds all the time. All of a sudden,
Go away,
especially
whore.
at 70. I don't have the patience now. I can't imagine that I would have the patience when I was that old. It's a crazy move, but it happens.
I remember
a lot,
even being in
man.
my early 20s and like I couldn't get drunk enough to bang, or like when I was like young, I couldn't get drunk enough to bang dumb hoes. It's just like, you're just annoying. I can imagine as a mid-30s guy or someone who's a millionaire who has all the options in the world and like in my middle age and go, you know what I want to do? I want to chase fucking, children that are just of legal age, essentially. Like, what are you doing?
You ever been around
anything to do with them?
I've been around, like I've been in places, restaurants or whatever, and there's like a group of chicks, you don't know how they are, but they're sub 25. And there's a bunch of them together and they're all drunk and they start making this fucking noise that like something happened to me in my late 20s, I think, where I went, oh my God, they sound like chickens. They sound like a bunch of fucking chickens. Like it's like hanging out with a bunch of really loud chickens, and it's the worst experience in the world. Like I said, I just can't imagine doing it so, to Peter Thiel, when you've got all this going for you, right? You're unbelievably wealthy and you're like, you know what? I want to suck off some college kids. And then, all right, now that's egregious. You're sucking off college kids. That's egregious. You shouldn't do that. But it's another thing to be like, and I'm going to invite them to hang out. We're going to spend some time together. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
That's weird.
That's very weird. Weirder than sucking them off, I'd say.
How bad did my internet just fuck off? Just was wondering.
No, I don't think it fucked off.
Okay, cool. I just completely blanked out. I'm like, my router's been doing this dumb shit, especially in the middle of the day recently. I don't know if they're doing some sort of maintenance and just don't give a fuck about people who do stuff in the middle of the day. Just randomly just shitting out just middle of the day. I'm like, this is when I do my morning shit, you assholes.
Yeah, it happens to me too. Spectrum. I think I'm going to fucking come to their house and kill them.
Yeah, Spectrum. Yeah, fuck
Steve Wilkos. Steve Wilkos.
Speaking of the Jews.
Oh, there
That's
you
what we
go.
can just do for every segue. Speaking of the Jews. Here's Tim Pool saying there isn't enough evidence that Epstein worked for Mossad. Looks like the secret meeting with Netanyahu went really well. Now, this is 30 seconds. I haven't watched this yet, so I do have a strong feeling that maybe this is being a little dishonest. Now, far be it for me to run to the defense of Timmy, but let's see how this says. Let's be fair here and see what it has to say, but I know it's kind of, a 30-second clip, how much context we really have here. Let's see how he says this.
Like, he's freaky out there. I don't want to speculate, but, if you understand the way of the world, yes, I believe you're right. I genuinely think this is likely happening. Like, Epstein was blackmailing people. He was probably working with some intelligence. Some people think he was working with Israeli intelligence. I don't know if the evidence corroborates that.
I think Elaine's father was Israeli intelligence, was he not?
I don't know. But I know that, Dan Bongino on this show said some Middle Eastern intelligence or something to that effect. And we don't know.
Okay, it's not as bad as I thought, but he is playing stupid as fuck. Let's be real.
Yeah. Well, what do you? I haven't got to hear your thoughts on it, Jose. Now that we had this moment where.
What do you think about that? That's your homie, Jose. Tell us about it.
I'll be honest. After I've never really considered him a homie. I've just been polite. Is really all I've ever really done. Because he did. But I don't know. I'm at the point where. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care to go. I mean, like, if I don't even know if IRL invited me, maybe I'd go on. I don't really care, to be honest. So it's like, whatever. Also, it's like the some of the shit he's pulled recently is so fucking egregious. I'm like, any sort of like, hey, I'm just being chill. Because I don't know. Let's be real. He's just a fence rider. So it's like, I guess I'm not someone who, I don't spend a ton of time online in the sense of like actually interacting on Twitter. And I know I've in the past couple of years, I know when I first started, I was pretty hardcore and would like shit on people a lot and stuff. I just don't. So it just to me, like when it's like, am I going to invest time on shitting on Tim Pool? Nah. I mean, I'm just, but I don't really shit on anyone. I don't really use Twitter like that. So like anymore, I basically just use it for promos and every now and then some other stuff. But so that's why I don't really shit. But I have definitely shit on him quite a bit for this. It's pretty fucking gay.
Sounds like you're not too retarded to stop. Really
I'm too retarded to stop. I mean, what is it? I think I talk shit up. I mean, maybe it'll be. I don't know if it was the first episode, or the second episode. I definitely talk shit on Jake's show. Nothing's ever gonna watch that. But it's like it's not like I just am not making shitting on Tim a priority. Like I don't know when he does dumb shit like his Chatham House rules. I talk mad shit and other stuff. But the most part, he's just fence sitting and being a faggot little centrist. So it's like whatever,
I didn't even comment on.
There's not much to punch him about. You know what I mean? It's kind of like. Okay, you just kind of have a faggoty take.
The better question is like, why is anybody listening anymore?
I don't think they are.
Well, I was going to say, are they? I don't know.
It feels hollow to me. That's kind of my point with why I wouldn't go on IRL. I'm telling you, when you've been in this game long enough and you go on some larger shows, I mean, maybe it's hard to tell because there's so many factors, but I'm just saying from the audience growth from all the different shows I've done, and then you take into account what their purported audience sizes are. I mean, I got gains from the times I went IRL, but nothing crazy, nothing insane. I mean, I got more on probably, and I think, and to some extent, it's kind of hard to decipher if that's an artificial audience or if it's just that I'm not playing to their audience. Because let's be real, my content that I cover, I mean, how much am I really pulling from it? But his audience is supposedly so huge, you would just think that I beats any show I would go on, but like that's not the case. Pretty much every other large show I've done I've probably gotten about the same, if not more. And then it's just like, but then you consider how large it is. You're like, okay, well something seems off to me. That's just my impression. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah.
Well, if you're on Twitter, it looks like the general consensus is that people are disenchanted with him in a really huge way. But I don't know if I'm like, I could be existing in this echo chamber. The algorithm could just be feeding me shit where it's all like, is there some corner of Twitter that's balls deep in Tim Pool? Are they really about it? Because I don't see it. And I think that Twitter right now it's kind of become this mechanism where everything is downstream. The culture happens on Twitter, and then it bleeds into the media, it bleeds into reality, it bleeds into conversations at the dinner table. So I think that if his listenership hasn't suffered right now, what is happening, the dialogue on Twitter surrounding Tim Pool's show is a sign of what's to come, because there's no way give that conversation enough time to stew. It's going to boil over. It's going to exit and enter, the living rooms of people, and they're going to stop listening.
Yeah. And by the way, I know we sound crazy when we talk about like them being artificial, but it's kind of just, especially if you've been in the industry, I guess it's kind of just common knowledge. There are people who bot stuff. Like Adam's saying, it's definitely bots, and I don't know if it's USAID, maybe, but it is there's a bots. I mean, there is a thing in this game. Like I literally, I actually have it saved. If you guys ever want it, because I was like, holy shit! I found this video of another channel that Chase Geyser was on, where he was like going on about how to create fake like how to tech wise, because he was literally like he was some sort of like essentially it wasn't a content creating type thing. It was actually like a business channel. Like he was trying to show people how to create audiences for their content or their products or whatever, more for like businesses if they're trying to for ad placements. But it was, if you apply that to a podcast type vibe, you can, this sounds like you're literally making up audiences. The idea is like he was essentially would create artificial audiences around products of some sort by businesses, the concept being, and then from there the just the natural social effect of there having this artificial audience that goes, oh wow, I'd love to have this, fake reviews on Amazon and the like, that type of thing, that from there people go and go, oh geez, and then they kind of create, it gives you kind of a boost effect, where then it makes it easier offloading into like an actual organic audience of some sort. And so he's was big into that, and let's be real, I mean, I don't even mean this in any sort of shitty way towards Shane or to Chase. We kind of know what his path he took was. He literally went the artificial route and managed to leverage that into something big. So good for him. He played the smart route. Me and you, none of us spent a bunch of money on bots, as far as I'm aware, to boost our audience.
I don't know if you asked Mr. Patriot. Mr. Patriot seems to think you guys are fucking running a bot farm.
I wish. I mean, I probably should have, to be honest. Like, that's why I keep saying I'm not talking shit about Chase. Looking at his path, it's like I probably should have invested in some bots.
Yeah, well, listen, I haven't invested in bots, but it's always a good idea to invest in yourself, like whatever you're doing. So with my business, with my companies, with Top Lobster, with Nephilim Death Squad, once I see that there's an opportunity.
Okay, Top spot it up. We got it.
Yeah, no, I am a paid up. No. Listen, if you see opportunity in what you're doing, it's smart to not just invest your time, but if you do have extra funds, do it, man. Like, spent a lot of money on microphones and shit like that, and whatever, put money into it. So Hotep Jesus has done the same thing. Mm-hmm. He has definitely botted himself out. I don't even know if he admitted it, but look at what it's reaped.
You get to where you can read it. Like I've gone to a point where you can read, you can look at audiences and you can go, or likes, comments, those sorts of metrics, and you can feel the artificial.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't even matter though, because like it was super art. Normies can't. So Chase Geyser, I think he's super talented at what he does. He wasn't getting any rub. I think he's good. I think he's good at what he does. He's getting 12 views. Well, listen, hey, he's sitting on fucking...
Hey, as I said, he did the right thing. I'm not shitting on him at all.
He's doing 12 views with Steve Bannon on his old YouTube show.
Insane.
He's bought a platform that Bot Lobster is hilarious, Adam. he's bought his following, and then that creates this artificial look where Alex Jones sees him. He looks at his content, says this guy seems to be a pretty okay broadcaster. I bring him on. I think he's good. I think he gave Ian Carroll a pretty good interview, and what I've seen from him on InfoWars is good. It's just now he's able to do it in front of more people. It's like, okay.
Are you getting paid by Chase? If he was good, let's be real, he would have got more than 12 views on his Bannon one. This is what I'm talking about when I see artificial stuff.
Feel like there's
Jeremy Ryan Slate is good.
Yes.
He is undeniably good, especially on the Roman Empire. The guy is a top expert, and he has like 50,000 subscribers or more on his YouTube channel. He does 10% of the views that we do. So I don't even know what that even means anymore. That's because a person does 12 views. Like, listen, he's not David Fight. David Fight's getting exactly the amount of views.
Jeremy's confusing.
It's not perfect, but I don't know. When he had top level guests early on, and like you would see Chase, as we were mentioning. You mentioned Steve Bannon. It wasn't just Bannon. There were multiple where it was just like, so I don't know, whatever. I'm not here to say whether he's a good presenter or not. Clearly it worked.
Alex Stein
that's
as
all
well.
I can say.
Is Alex Stein doing botting? I don't know, but these people, when I look at them, I'm watching like extreme determination.
To some extent, though.
This guy's doing reality TV shows before this, trying to do exactly what he's doing now, and he gets a foot in the door and just fucking grinds. Do I think he's the funniest guy in the world, Alex Stein? No. Do I understand why a lot of people follow him? Not really, but I respect his tenacity and what he's doing. Like, they are fucking doing it. And this is, I yell at you, Jose. I yell at the other Tower Gang guys about this. Like, yo, there's something here. Fucking get into it. Dig your heels in, and you're doing it finally. But like, it's been 5 years that we could have had the opportunity to be doing, and now we're doing it.
It's just a matter of getting it fall in place. Me and Raven were actually talking about this, and it is like, I think as we have other breakouts within our group, it'll allow us to kind of leverage the other person's have breakouts, because I kind of feel like I've been a little bit of a failure to launch, while not really being. I just haven't been able to invest the time I'd like to with actual real life obligations and so much stuff going on. But luckily, life has kind of changed, and just the income from this has enabled me to be able to do more. And so that was kind of my point. As you make more, as I make more, it's just you just naturally kind of. From there, like as I was saying we were talking before the show, it's kind of like, in the future, like, you guys can be in the position that Clint's in. Clint can be in the position that Dave was in, at an earlier time. I can be in the position you're in. Cole and Toad can be in a position that I am, so far as like audience reach, etc. So, and I think we just it kind of worked from there. But it is just a matter of like it is such a hard thing with this game too, because it is, as I was saying, it's prohibitive. There's like, at the very least, we're talking probably 2 hours a day, probably at least 3 to 4 times a week. So like, and that's, let's be real, a hobby that you don't see immediate results. You don't start getting like super buff if you're working out or whatever.
And also that your wife hates.
Yes,
and
your
that's
wife
like
typically
unanimous.
hates,
I don't know a podcaster whose wife doesn't hate their podcast. Not that my wife hates it, but it's like that's my major, clashing point is like, I got to do a show, and she's like, again.
Women are short-sighted, and that's why they're secondary in the family. They need to be led because they don't understand. And I'm not saying like we're making millions of dollars, but I'm saying that there is a potential to grow this thing. Like the way I look at this and my business and podcasting is, I could be driving a truck and making, I don't know, whatever I was making, like 80,000 straight or whatever, 85. But that's all that I'll make. I can put all my time into this and dedicate it to a company and maybe even do some overtime, break 100. It's not good enough for me. It's not worth my time. With this, I'm happy to pour all of my effort into it, make half of that, but there's no ceiling. It's what I put into it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's very hard to get started. So when you're talking about Chase and whether or not he's good, it's like, I do recognize that I've seen a lot of people who are very good that just fucking can't. Nobody's seeing them. I don't understand what it is, even if they put into promotional materials.
Very good. When I saw David, I saw you, and I said, this guy's very good at what he does. No one's gonna ever see him because it's impossible. You're just like,
look at his stupid face.
Look at his stupid. Look at the fucking
That's why I
annoying
dressed the way. I'm like,
voice.
do you see me now? Do I look gay enough now?
If we didn't pair up, it would have taken you. I think you'd still be in the same spot if you kept going, but it's going to take you exponentially longer because there is no like jumping on point. But I don't know, man. It's just like people need that. Sometimes you need that little extra boost. Sometimes you need to fucking cheat until you make it. Somebody said if you're not cheating, you're not trying. They're right, man. It's like,
although you kind of made a point that I think kind of pushes back against the concept of I've said, oh, hey, maybe Chase did the right thing, and like, yeah, sort of, kind of. Although, as you pointed out, we as a group and individually are creating our own things. Whereas Chase rode the artificial wave and jumped off into somebody else's thing. So it's like cool, like whatever, like that's great. I mean, good for him. He got the shorter route and got success shorter. But I think our success will be more profound for us, essentially.
Sure, because you've earned it. So like I jumped off into not an artificial thing, but I was with doing like Skankfest and Gas Digital peripherally, and I made the conscious decision to not do that anymore because I said, all right, I think that what I have here is more valuable, and I cannot split my time. So whatever. But God bless Chase and everyone else that's doing all this other stuff. Good for them. But if you ultimately want to be if you want to do whatever you want to do, you have to build your own thing, and that's very hard. But there's ways to get there.
I don't have all of the following. I don't have a huge platform, but what I do have is the ability to hop on Twitter, post a picture of an egg, and then have it reciprocated, or scream Steven in all caps, and then have 40 people scream at Steven about the moon map, the missing moon map, about the apology that he hasn't issued. We don't know where the moon map is. But that's amazing. So Chase can't do that. Chase doesn't have like a personal connection to people. I hop on, I go, moon map, baby, moon map, where's it at? And everybody wants to know. So that's the thing you get to look forward to when you build an organic following.
There is something to say about like, so the back to Bohemian Grove, but the Bohemian Grove tickets are almost the VIP are sold out.
Which the VIP are sold out. In one day we sold out all the VIP tickets.
Yeah, and now we're working on there's actually like maybe 3 left. I don't even know. So if you're a patron,
we didn't really lay this out well for the audience earlier. By the way, for patrons of the show, you already have access. No one else does right now. So, correct. I mean, I'm telling you, I told my audience yesterday. I mean, maybe you haven't had an opportunity yet. Was it Friday? I think they're going up public or something like that.
Friday, they're going. Dude, when they go up on, I can tell just by the way they're moving now.
Gone.
As soon as this shit happens on Friday, they're going to go to Cashman's audience. They're going to go to Sam Tripoli's audience. They're going to go to Owen Benjamin's audience. They're going to be fucking gone.
That's the thing. It's like Owen, so we've done this a couple of times, and I've seen how tickets move. I've also seen how they move with Skankfest, but that's another animal. These, once I put them up, we immediately the first day we almost sold out of the VIP tickets. And it was like boom, 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 boom right away. It was, so this is gonna go. And once Owen announces it to his fans, because he doesn't tour, Sam, you could see Sam in a bunch of places. And Sam will still sell this place out. Owen doesn't tour. So like once they see this shit, it's gonna be wild. Please get your tickets now. If you're a fan of Jose, if you're a fan of Liberty Lockdown, if you're a fan of Nephilim Death Squad, get it before Friday, because I don't want to see a bunch of bears in there. I don't want to see a bunch of fucking Sam Tripoli fans. I want to see you retards.
And I want none of you to laugh at anything they say. Just stare at them.
Just stare at them.
I want you guys, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to, everything we say, unbelievable gold. Everything they say, it's all right. It's good.
Just clapter about everything we say.
Yeah.
Like that was actually a joke. Why are you guys clapping?
Imagine how funny it would be if we invited them to our event, we paid them, and then we trolled them. And they were just like, I don't understand. Like these people really do have a vicious, dedicated fan base of retards.
So what you guys like? You want to show this off? Steven?
The
egg hatch of Steven.
I just want my fucking moon map. And to tell you the truth, he doesn't even need it. I know he doesn't need it. I bet you he doesn't even look at it. I bet you he doesn't even use it.
But why did he
just sitting there?
Why did he steal it?
I do like the symbolism that he is your egg that is hatched.
He is.
So you've been sitting on this egg for so long, and now here it is, and it's hatched.
Yeah, and Raven actually he vomits into his mouth and he eats it. That's what goes on here.
Yeah. Oh no,
dude, the symbolism is off the chart here.
I give him sustenance. I raise him up. Okay, I lift him up so that he can be more. But that relationship stops until I get my fucking moon map.
Raven's running a masterclass on black magic is what he's doing right here.
It's not, the ritual's not complete yet. What's today's date?
Once he fucks him, it'll be over.
It'll have to be
once you enter his third eye.
That's it. That's the name of his festival. I'm not even mad at the guy. He said that we stole his fucking name, and I already explained
which is like I meant to say something earlier, but it's so dumb. It's like Bro Grove's one of those things that I remember when it came out. I was like, oh, that's a genius idea. But it was genius in the sense that I was like, how has nobody done this? It's such an obvious play on words.
It's simplistic, right? That's it. It's genius in its simplicity. That's
exactly.
all. I fucking put a hard R in it. That's all I did. And
then when you're like, someone else had this, you're like, yeah, no shit. Like, of course everybody had this idea. There was some stoner, smoking a doober that's 16 years old in fucking Missouri going, you'll be fucking cool. Bro Grove. Like people have come up with this idea.
Oh, they call it. So there is a clothing line, which I shouldn't even shout them out because they're retarded. Bohemian Grove, and they had me like, yo, dude, that's not cool. And I was like, I didn't even know you existed until you DM me right now. But I was like, hey, listen, you can come to the festival. You can be associated with it. I'll put your name on here if you want to sell your shirt. They're like, I don't really understand how that would help. And I was like, all right, well then I'm not gonna change the name. We're just gonna keep moving with it. And they were like, that's okay. I was like, this is fucking the dumbest shit ever. So I was like, all right, whatever. We're moving forward. But if there is issues, we'll just call it Bro Grove, which is exactly what it is, or Rape-a-Palooza.
I like that we're calling it Bro Grove. Like that's it. We're so fucking lazy. We can't even say Hemian.
It sounds cooler.
We go.
I think it sounds cooler.
It does sound cooler. It does sound cooler. But yeah, low hanging fruit. Not a real breakthrough in intellect there.
Speaking of our boy Sammy, speaking of Jews,
sweet Sam Tripoli.
He says, "Holy shit, she's a spook and went to Epstein Island." This is he's quote tweeting a tweet with was this Wanda Sykes? So there's a little video here we'll
Wanda
watch.
Sykes drank a baby? Get the fuck out of here!
I guess so. We're about to find out. By the way, thank you, Rage Child, for the for tagging us in this. So appreciate it, brother. With that, let's play this little video we got here about Wanda Sykes and the spookery of this. The caption here is funny how all the people most against Donald J. Trump always have a background like and then ... which obviously me and Austin have covered extensively. That so does Donald J. Trump. So, but let's go ahead and play this.
Did you once work at the NSA?
I did. I worked at National Security Agency.
What is the NSA? I'm genuinely asking.
It is the National Security Agency.
When I worked there, the N stood for nigga.
Yes.
I mean, she is like the king fucking DMV fucking worker, right? Like the
Yo,
queen
she
DMV
really
worker.
is.
So it
She's
makes
like
sense
the
she would be
fucking-
NSA, you know?
Oh my god, the final boss of the DMT managers. I mean, the is that what it's called?
The final boss of the DMV. Yeah,
DMV. Damn, I
Yeah.
can't even think like a normal person
The tax
anymore.
registration office in here in Florida.
You gotta talk to Wanda about that. Like, fuck, here comes Wanda.
Yeah, I think that's what happens. They just get like, in every fucking, DMV, they find the queen of the DMV and they take her and go, hey, you're coming over the NSA. We're putting together a team, and that's what we're doing here. So
we don't even have to
checks
find out if you're evil. We know you're evil.
No, yeah, like we know, like you're like the top dog at the DMV. Like you're going to fit right in, Like it's death by bureaucracy. So let's go and play this.
Kind of like the CIA, except it's more in intelligence and gathering information instead of CIA is more people, more person to person.
How long were you there?
About 7 years? Yeah.
But did you
7
spy
years.
on people and stuff?
Well,
Sounds like that was the job.
No, I may have, bought some stuff so people can do that, but
Oh, you were buying little cameras and shit.
But if you want to, reduce it to little cameras and shit, some pretty important shit I did.
Wow, you're desperate. You really want to tell us, but you can't probably.
Right.
What a bind you're in.
Everything I know is so old, nobody cares. But
What years was it?
Maybe I'll put it in a signal chat and we can talk about it.
Yeah, put it in a signal chat. We'll get it out to everybody.
All right, we'll get a group chat going.
All right.
So that explains Wanda Sykes because she was never that funny. So it's like, how the fuck is this bitch?
I thought there was going to be an Epstein thing, but I actually vaguely recall. I want to say, obviously, someone go check me on this. I think she was on the flight logs.
Yeah, Sykes was on the flight logs? That's interesting.
I think so.
Imagine getting fucking raped and murdered by Wanda Sykes.
I know, right? What an ordeal.
Horrifying
Getting
experience.
scissored to death. Like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how much of our Hollywood elites are sort of and I never really thought that I would have said Wanda Sykes is a Hollywood elite. I don't, as far as a comedian goes, I guess technically given screen time and popularity of name, I guess she's an A-list comedian. It's just not doing comedy anymore, but
B+.
Right. That's weird when you think about it. Wanda Sykes is nearly an A.
Like she's got her typical black shtick comedy, and it's like, I don't know.
I will say there was a period of time, like yes, you're like, oh, she's on A-list, but I feel like she was being groomed for it. It just didn't go. Like it was almost like that was a project that they really were like, oh shit, they're gonna love this. A black girl who's funny, she's fucking gay, and like got a loud voice and talk like this. And it's like fucking, this is kill. And like, yeah,
I didn't know she's a big lesbian. She's a big lesbian.
Yeah, she's a gay. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well,
she's
early 2000s, they were trying to get us to drink that Kool-Aid.
And I'm not even shitting on her. I find her mildly funny. Like I've seen her and stuff that I find her enjoyable, kind of funny, depending on what role they
black
give her.
Caricature is funny.
Yeah, so it's like. And sometimes I feel like I don't know if I've seen, maybe I haven't even seen her comedy, but I feel like I have, and I feel like I'm maybe like mildly enjoying, but like nothing to shit on. But I'm just saying it just didn't take off, and which I guess probably for the same reasons why I laid out. I just didn't really. She's just okay. So it does make sense that like, hey, she's former NSA in that sense, and that like, oh, if she did go to Epstein Island, it's like, oh, they were trying to make it happen, it didn't fly. And now we're in they really were putting all their fucking eggs in the basket of, you know, the fucking the woke shit, and I don't think it really worked because she kind of straddled the line. She does a good job of being offensive while also kind of checking off the woke boxes, so she was kind of like a perfect little weapon in that sense.
Well, yeah,
but
because
I think
I don't know what her comedy was about, but I know, you know, aesthetically, tiny black lesbian wins in this culture. So yeah, I could see why she got that far. But
checks all the boxes.
I think the question is, and there's no way to answer it, but it's very fun to speculate, how many of the influential people that are on the world stage, in one way or another, we're talking musicians or actors or otherwise, are actually assets, are real feds, are actual feds, because we throw that around a lot. It's been thrown around a lot at me lately. I've been accused of being all kinds of. We've been accused of being part of a Florida Illuminati, essentially.
We are starting the Florida Illuminati. So if you guys would like to join, there is a fee.
Jose, would you like to be?
Yeah, I mean, I have General Flynn coming on as a guest next week, so I think that might be what we're talking about.
That's great because he organized our entire event. Somebody fucking went on Twitter yesterday and was like, said that this event, Bohemian Grove, is a General Flynn event. Like
I don't even know much about General Flynn, but I just know there's so many fucking weird schizoids online who is so convinced shit about it. I think he does seem weird, I guess. I don't know enough about him to even be concerned about him, but boy, there's a bunch of people online that are super fucking concerned about him.
QAnon connection. But you know what's weird? I can't, in my mind, every time I say General Flynn, I see Roger Stone. Which is, I cannot separate the two. Roger Stone's fucking weird to me.
I don't really know what General Flynn looks like, but I guess if I were to picture him, that's kind of what I imagine, a weird Roger Stone monster. Although, let's be real, they all kind of turn into Roger Stones, at least the weird spooky ones, because let's be real, that dude's glowy as fuck. Like, I know,
he is,
I know Clint likes to hang out with him, and so does fucking Luke, but dude, he's trying to get you to go to the butthole parties. Like, come on. Like, you fucking grow up, Clint.
Well, let's do something called the FPI, the Florida Podcast Initiative, or something like that.
Like Illuminati. Florida Podcast Illuminati.
Florida Podcast Illuminati.
We should start a Masonic lodge.
Yes, FPI.
Dude, let's make our own lodges. Oh my God, please.
We should buy a private jet and a plane.
Yeah. I got it, dude. I'm not gonna lie though. So when I first got on Twitter, the first week Roger Stone started following me. Very strange. Didn't know who he was. Didn't. It was very weird. And now that I have a handle on who he is after all these years, and I'm looking at Luke.
After I fucked his wife.
Well,
he wore a bull mask in the corner.
I look at Luke Rudkowski, who I like, and I'm going, what are you fucking doing? Why are you hanging out? I don't care how influential. If Roger Stone ever came to me and asked me to hang out, I'd say fucking simply
he was
no,
involved with the Nixon call. I mean, I still haven't gone on a deep dive there, but I know he was tangentially connected, and I know enough about him to be like, this dude, stay the fuck away. So like, I don't know if Clint just hasn't Clint's more of a generalist than we are. We're specialists in our own little angles. Clint's more of a generalist, so I do see him do some stuff. I'm like, dude, you're really struggling to beat the accusations here, and also putting yourself in dangerous waters.
Yeah.
Yo, can you pull up the thing I sent in the private chat? It's a tweet. I think it's kind of interesting here.
Pay attention to the private chat.
Roger
Stone, here, chat to me here, slut. No, I'm just kidding.
He strikes me as like Peter Thiel's trying to have young cock. That very, very much the same energy from whatever his name is, Roger Stone. I think he's trying to suck off Luke Rudkowski. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe he did already. But this is interesting. So James Lindsay, our favorite faggot, says Myron Gaines discussing with propaganda artist Ian Carroll about how you have to be strategic and how you manipulate people into Jew hatred, referring to Joe Rogan and his audience. Can't say too much at once. Clip 2/4 on JRE. And Rob Shneider, anti-Semitism on display. It's just very interesting how like who goes over, who's susceptible to the bullshit and who isn't. And it's like, it seems like Rob has bought this hook, line, and sinker. So it's like this libertarian facade that he's been running around with. And I never really I like him in some movies, but I don't think he's that fucking funny.
I liked him in the Zohan when
Quite
he
like
was
a
the guy
tribe, I think, you know?
When he was in the Zohan and he had his goat stolen, that was maybe his best role.
Yeah, or like 50 First Dates, where he's the guy with the fucking, the shitty beard. Listen, Rob Shneider is an interesting guy. He's friends with Adam Sandler, so maybe that's where you get the Jewish stuff. But it's just funny to see how there's like a dividing line here. And this seems to be it. It's like now they're activated to one side. And so I don't particularly like Myron Gaines. I think he's a Fed. I'm pretty sure he is a Fed.
I think he's admitted he is. I mean, not
legitimate,
like currently,
like an actual
but in the
Fed.
past, I guess. Like he worked same like Wanda Sykes type deal. Like he had some sort of government job of some sort, which I guess I did too. But I think he literally was like intel agency. So it's like, I mean, I work for the military. Like I don't know, I was a mechanic, so I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like. All right, but so so Myron is doing this one thing, and Ian, I don't know, he's.
Laney brought up a good point. Rob is Jewish.
Oh, yeah, I was making the joke. I said, yeah, Shneider.
Oh, Shneider. Yeah,
that's what I made the joke earlier. I thought you would catch up on it. It's like these guys are almost like a tribe. Like I was just being stupid. Like the tribe,
It makes a lot of sense. I just see him. You know what? Because he plays so many characters.
How are you missing anti-Semitism?
Yeah. It's hard to find out if he's Jewish.
He looks Jewish.
He plays all these different brown people.
He's like borderline peak Jewish physiognomy. Let's be real.
Color. I don't see color, Jose.
I don't see color. I see structure, doggy. That's all I see. All right, let's go and play this. I do it on 2x, so if it's ridiculously, I'll turn it down. But let's go and see let's see how anti-Semitic this is. Let's look into it.
Yeah, and I got into a couple of really heated discussions with people about that interview, and people were saying, "Oh, he didn't go hard enough. He should have done this or that." I literally told him, "Shut the fuck up, dude." Like, the guy went on JRE. You can't go on there talking about the fucking Talmud, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you got to kind of slowly build your way up, right? And people don't. I look at Joe Rogan as like he is what I call like the first step towards alternative narratives. He's like what normies that don't trust the government will watch, right? So you can't go on there and be full retard and talk about this topic, and then just like make yourself look crazy, make him uncomfortable, and just go wild. Like, so I think because I remember you vividly you mentioned the dancing Israelis. That's a W in itself. The fact that you even mentioned it on a platform that big, guaranteed at least 50 to 100,000 people are going to Google that now. And then just like you said, because I literally said that when I was talking about this, it's better to say something and let the people Google and come to their own conclusion versus you try to like go wild and go into super deep.
Especially to say things that are the easily like findable resources. Like you can find those FBI files, and they are official FBI files, so they're a very high integrity source that you can send people to. Whereas like trying to send people to Talmud is like, it's hard to interpret, it's hard to understand, it's hard to even find the real Talmud, and you start to get into all this. Like if you talk about something like the Talmud on Joe Rogan, you actually alienate a huge amount of the audience that could have started asking questions, and they're like, "This guy's crazy. I don't trust this guy."
So I actually agree a lot with this dude's go to what did he say? Scroll up a little bit to this guy's caption. It's like the first sentence.
Says who? Lindsay?
So he says Myron Gaines discussing with propaganda artist Ian Carroll about how you have to be strategic in how you manipulate people into Jew hatred. Now, I don't know, what he's stupid. Where he's coming, but I do recognize that there has been like this weird, the conversation's been astroturfed, right? We've been saying that for a while. So there was an organic Jew noticing that has happened fucking, it's a tale as old as time, but what happened was the speech surrounding it was suppressed. And so you couldn't talk about the Jews. You couldn't talk about their overrepresentation in all these different institutions that fucking run our country. And then that created a sort of pressure cooker effect. Elon Musk comes along and he cracks the valve on the pressure cooker, and all of a sudden, almost seemingly orchestrated, the conversation starts to take place. And he even engages with it himself, right? With Top's post that he made about Mel Gibson and Joe Biden. And that actually blows up for him. But it does seem that Elon will occasionally come along, touch a topic, and then allow it to organically develop from there. Very much in the same way that happened is the same way I feel like a lot of people glommed on to the Jew noticing thing. And we're talking about people that specifically woke up in like 2020, right? That they woke up, the COVID was fucking a lie and the official narrative wasn't what it seems. And you get in a really strange state when you just wake up. And that state is you want to grab onto the very first thing that looks like the truth. And what looks like the truth right now, which I would almost argue was built up in a sort of way, and it's not the truth, but there's a lot more to the truth beyond this situation. So all of a sudden the ground was fertile for all this Jew noticing, and all of a sudden the Jew noticing dialogue was allowed to happen because of Elon taking it over. So something has happened. We took a real problem and we suppressed the speech around it. And then once we enabled the speech around it, we started steering the dialogue. Not we, right? I'm not getting paid by the Jews. I'm getting paid by Qatar. But, there has been this steering of the narrative. And it's so he's not wrong. right?
Well, he's not wrong. It's the framing. He frames as dishonest, as Jew hatred, and so it's just all that he's describing is what any person who has a platform that tries to discuss ideas that has beliefs of their own, which is anybody who does a show. We are all trying to. And actually, this is something I actually probably need to work on. That's a common critique I get from people is like, oh, it's hard to follow. And so it's like I do cover a lot of topics. It's like super schizo, super deep stuff. And like trying to cover in a way that doesn't scare off people is sometimes a little bit difficult. And when you are going on large platforms, you do have to try to tailor your message in certain ways for that. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think it's anything crazy of like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to go on Joe Rogan and talk about the Talmud for an hour, especially since people aren't going to be receptive to it. You have to keep your audience in mind.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such a deep level. There's so much to it. And, on the anti-Semitism thing, it's like, I guess technically in a certain sense, talking shit about the Talmud or being concerned about the Talmud, I guess sort of is, but like, who cares? Once again, at least it's on the religious component. So like, I mean, not that I even care if it was on the racial component, but there is like honestly basically no argument in my opinion that with any sort of merit on why you can't denigrate religions or disagree with religions. I mean, at least race, you can be like, it's kind of a little bit dumber because you're like, well, then you're like, I don't know, you could be a black guy and be perfectly cool. Maybe the statistics say otherwise,
right,
in broad strokes. But on an individual level, whereas with a religion, it's literally a belief system. Like these are things they believe. And if you were saying, oh, these beliefs I think are harmful or not good, it's the same idea where like I don't find it's really. Well, I may not agree with it. Obviously, you guys don't agree with it. I don't think there's anything necessarily improper or confusing or weird about when people point out certain things in Christian doctrine and they say, I disagree with this or whatever. Maybe you may disagree with their point, but it's like, it's a religion. It's like, obviously, it's a belief system, and you have a different belief system, so it's not that crazy. You go, I disagree with this belief system, and here's X, Y, and Z, Y. Like, it's not that crazy.
Well, that's like I said, though, what I do recognize is we're in a unique circumstance, and that unique circumstance is twofold. One, we've had this conversation stifled, and that is not totally unique. It's happened historically, but it is not a good, it's the beginnings of a recipe for disaster. And the second thing that's been happening is, like I said, all those people who woke up 5 years ago. Because we're a bunch of conspiracy theories here. If you think back to when you first realized the official narrative was not the case, and then what happens afterwards, I think, if you care about the truth, is you start looking around for it and you fall for a bunch of dumb shit on the way to the truth. And ideally, you probably never really come to the full truth, which you're constantly searching. And I've gotten better over the years of not being so reactive and grabbing onto something and saying definitively that this thing is the truth, because I've had my paradigm shit on so many times. They're in the beginning stages of that. There are thousands and thousands of people who were all like, what the fuck just happened in 2020? And then all of the sudden, because they couldn't even talk about it while it was happening, all of the sudden the doors opened up to a social media platform where you're allowed to talk about it.
And I think there is something to what maybe your point at, and that I think maybe there was to some degree or another in intentionality, but I actually think, my opinion, just reading the room, I think maybe it got away from them, and I think also the time they had us in isolation, I guess you sense, in the naughty corner, being censored, I think that kind of strengthened this group, and so now we essentially have a great core elite, essentially, that are now leading the new guard coming in, that have also just kind of been woken up to this new paradigm of like, what the fuck with 2020 and all the October 7th stuff, and so they're kind of coming in, being like, yo, what the fuck, and they're also kind of immunized, I guess, in a sense of the other side. And like, I do think there might have been, they play this duality game, but I think sometimes it gets away from them. Now, the key is, does it get away from them to the extent that they then recontrol it and divert it into something, well, a la like World War II, where like, oh, we're told that, oh, these awful things happen, and like, but it's like, let's be real, look at the elites at the top and who benefited. Like, is it going to be something like that? I don't know.
Well, even when we say it got away from them, and there are some things historically I think did get away from them. I think the internet was one of those things. Like, they just didn't fucking anticipate that it was going to turn into this information warfare kind of a deal. But their MO is create chaos, and out of that create chaos, they create new order. So I struggle to kind of see what it looks like when it gets away from them, because the name of the game is chaos, right? That's everything is about sowing as much chaos as possible. And then when shit starts to fall apart, you present yourself as a hero, or you know, Hegelian dialectic bullshit. So I don't even know what it looks like these days for it to get away from them, because we don't get a reckoning. If something gets away from you and you fumble the ball, that usually means that you're left vulnerable. And now somebody's coming for you, and we're going to fucking put you on the world stage. We're going to, you know, put you through the system, and we're going to deal with you in some way, shape, or form. We haven't fucking done that.
It's ridiculous. Like all the routes for recourse, and by when I say routes for recourse for any of this stuff, I mean the stuff that people typically think of as the routes for recourse are all essentially controlled paths. Like they're all like, you know, voting or protest or whatever. Like none of that shit, in my opinion, is going to make a fucking bit of difference. It's all fucking games they play with you. So it is, but these are controlled paths. So like once you get upset, then they go, okay, they're upset. And you're like, okay, cool. Now they're going to go down these pathways that we've already completely fucking, you know, structured to our liking. And hey, we control the game here and you're playing our game like an idiot. As opposed to, obviously, I think there's other ways to go to, you know, kind of increase your wealth, increase those around you, you know, you work on yourself and work out from there. It's really all you can do.
There's a lot happening, though, in this clip, right? So you have what is the truth. Like they're talking about how you're going to, all right, so it's undeniable that the Talmud does exist and that is incompatible with this culture. We have an entire religion that's embedded itself not just in our politics, but also in our society. They even live separately within our towns from us doing this thing. How do you talk to people about that? That's the first question. This is what they're talking about. Well, you slow drip it. You do this slow walk, kind of like how the left has done. So now you have James Lindsay identifying correctly the processes that have been used in the past effectively by the left. And which is where you get the woke right thing, because
it's not even just the left, right, Top? It's like, this is how you would do it, period. If you had a sensitive topic and somebody that you cared about.
Yeah, this is how, if you wanted, exactly. This is how actually comedians form a joke. You take the premise, you figure out how to package it in a way that it's palatable to people. You show it to them. Sometimes it might not work. You walk it back, you show it to them again, and eventually it'll be accepted. And then you'll be able to open up the dialogue further. James Lindsay has realized this, and I think Rob Shneider as a comedian has also realized what they are doing, and they're doing it effectively. They are worried, but never, not once, do they say, this is incorrect what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're saying, how do we present the Talmud to the people on Joe Rogan? How do we present the dancing Israelis on Joe Rogan? How do we present Epstein Island on Joe Rogan? How do we present that this is all somehow pointing back to a certain culture or religion or ethnicity of people, because that's also very obscure. So no, we're not going to deny any of that. We're just going to let that slow roll as it happens, but we'll attack how it's being messaged the same way we were messaging to our propaganda to the people before. Yeah. Then underneath that, which is this why, like, I love this thread because it's fascinating. Underneath that, you've got Myron Gaines, who is represented by the King Jew, Gary, the numbers guy, who is putting satanic hexes on people, which, as far as I'm concerned, is directly in line with Judaism and the Talmud. There is no difference between whatever they're doing. This guy is a shitty person, but he represents your podcast. And when he was confronted, I've been saying this for a long time, but it's one of those things that were weird. I was like, this guy's represented by this fucking fat Jew. And everyone was just like, whatever. Let him yell on. He was yelling about Dave Smith and shit. And I actually confronted him about that in a one of those Twitter spaces. And it was just one of those things where people go, anyway. And I was like, that's fucking, it's just an idea that's time has not come yet. So like, I'm familiar with the Owen Benjamin struggle of like, I was like, I can't believe that just went away, but it came out and he just said, whatever, you know, he's a good manager. I don't care how good of a manager you are. This dude is, especially if you're out here preaching this shit, Myron, he's standing against everything that you hold dear. All of your principles. Your manager, the guy that makes you shekels, is opposing it. It's a weird thing to be in. And Ian Carroll,
I don't think it doesn't check out, though. It kind of goes to show you, like, there is no moral fabric there. You know,
maybe it's even more than that. Maybe it's like, because this is an idea whose now the time has come for this idea of whatever anti-Semitism is and whatever the Jews have been doing. That's being allowed to be shown on the world stage. And I think that Ian, whether knowingly or not, he is being allowed to show this. That's simple as that. I've been saying this for fucking years. I got doxxed for making just a light Jewish joke, which is why you see my face today. Otherwise, I would still be driving a truck, most likely, staying behind the scenes. But now we're allowed to go on Joe Rogan and say this in whatever way. And yeah, you have to say it smart. You've got to be cunning. You got to be handsome, maybe fucking 7 feet tall, 6 fingers, whatever. But there's a way to say it, but you're allowed to say it now. And it's like, okay, let's take that information and really package that. on one hand, this information is true. On the other hand, it's being allowed to be proliferated. Why?
Yeah.
Well,
why?
Why? Why now? It's strange, but it does seem like we're headed on that track where it's like, all right, the cat's out of the bag. There's really nothing we can do to hide these crimes anymore. They're already in their end game of reclaiming all of Israel. Maybe that's the end game. They've already captured all of our politicians and all of our shitty podcasters. So it's like, well, where are they going to spin this into next is kind of what I'm looking at. Because and also the trap of, oh, the Jews. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, no, the Jews for sure. They're pretty bad. There's a lot of them that aren't. And people will jump down my throat for saying that. But it's just the truth of the matter. Like, if you're a Christian, if you're a believer in Jesus and what happened there, this is the same story playing out. But his disciples were Jewish. The people that believed in him in the beginning and the ones that spread that idea of Christianity, which we are based on, America is based on those foundations, they were initially Jewish. Then there were the Pharisees. And those are the ones who murdered him. So there are two separate sects of people. There's like the sons of Satan, or whatever you'd like to call them, the vipers in the den. Yes. And then there are other people. So it's hard to make this freaking delineation.
Well, I think it's been, this conversation has been steered in such a way that the steam cooker effect, the pressure cooker effect, has demanded, now that it's exploded and it's happening, that there be no nuance.
Yeah, and there is none. And you know what? I don't really know what to even say about it. I understand why there wouldn't be nuance, because anytime you try to add nuance, there's 1,000 people coming in and muddying the waters as to what is actually happening here. And then it looks like they represent everybody. And in the Jewish people's nature, they've been told the story about the 40 years in the desert and their time in Egypt and the Holocaust. And they're like, we can't have that again. So if I believe those stories, I'd understand, yes, we can't have that again. People are collectivizing against us. Therefore, I understand the inclination, and that like if you have a mouse and you just cause it trauma, its children are going to react to that same trauma for like 7 generations. This is what's happening. So the collectivization makes sense, but there still is a truth that needs to be told. It needs to stop no matter what. I don't know what you do about it. And then also behind the scenes, the Jews, there's a bigger power behind the scenes there, man. There's people running, there's like Roman Catholics that are actually running the monetary system,
Jesuits.
Not just Jesuits. I mean, you name it.
There's
There's
like
like
Day,
there's at least 5
Knights
other
of Malta,
groups.
So
that are doing things. So but now we want to talk about like what James Lindsay is saying here. He's like, oh well, look at these guys. Look at how they're presenting this dishonest conversations. Like, I'd like to present the conversation of the Knights of Malta. I'd like to talk about the fucking Roman Catholic Church, but we can't. I'd like to talk about the Jesuit order, but we're not even there yet.
I was balls deep into the Dutroux affair. Like, there's a lot of other shit to talk about, but people are so like they feel it's almost if you don't want to talk about the Jews at that moment, you're like you're a shill. But it's like, I don't know, but or you're fucking, or all you want to talk about is Jews. It's like, I don't know, they're definitely a component, and there's a lot to it, that's for sure. And I talk about it a lot. There's plenty of other stuff to talk about as well. But they keep doing shit, but so it's hard not to mention it. Speaking of, we have here our last story of the day. Felt like this was kind of a good way to end it off. Israeli Nova Festival head who played victim over kneecaps Coachella performance participating in the Gaza genocide. For those who aren't aware, there was some shit for like fuck Israel, free Palestine over at Coachella, which I guess they reference later here.
His co-founder is fucking Nimrod?
Nimrod, yep, right. It's fucking, they tell you, right? Co-founder of the Nova Festival rave, Nimrod Arnon, has been outed. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these guys take their own names. Like, was it? I always bring it up. Smotrich, he's one of the I forget, the defense minister maybe, or I forget which minister he is. But his name is Bezalel, which doesn't that sound like a biblical like demon or something?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like, yeah. Oh, so he's been outed as running an Israeli intelligence firm, which sprang into action to aid the Israeli genocide in Gaza. Meanwhile, the Nova Festival is being quoted by U.S. corporate media after expressing they were deeply hurt by hip-hop trio Kneecap projecting the words "Fuck Israel, Free Palestine" during their Coachella performance. So to recap, the founder of the Nova Festival ran an Israeli military intelligence firm. So that's really like, I mean, if you know enough of the fishy stuff around it, all the extra bodies that showed up out of nowhere, all the, the people who clearly got blown away by helicopter fire, it seems like an insanely fucked up military op to me. Let's be real. I think if you aren't leaning towards false flag, you're just not really digging or thinking, in my opinion, at this point.
I'm still stuck on this guy's name is Nimrod. Like this
Right?
is it's biblical prophetic. It's biblical prophecy that Nimrod will inhabit this. Even the Jews know that Nimrod was inhabited by like dark spirits. So to name your kid that or to name yourself that,
that's what I'm saying.
You're telling us right on your face, like not to believe you. That is wild shit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's like if I went to my kid and I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna name him Lex Luthor.
Like I'm gonna name you Adolf. It's the same. It's,
Adolf.
Yeah. Like you don't do that. It's not a very.
It's even weirder that they pick these names. Like I don't know about Nimrod, obviously, but like the Bezalel one I gave you the point. Maybe I didn't emphasize it or say it, but they pick their names because, or at least like the higher ups. A lot of these people are like I forget what Netanyahu's. That's not his real name. It's like some sort of Eastern European sound. And like,
he's fucking related to. You ever see the thing where he's related to Malay?
No, but he's almost certainly an FBI or CIA asset, or was in the past, like directly.
There's something
was paid
really
by
crazy.
them.
Like Javier Malay had nose surgery, right? So you could find early pictures of him where his nose, he had a big fucking Jewish honker, and Malay's not his actual name. He's got like a brother who shares. I think his name is the same name that Netanyahu's name was originally.
Anyone finds that? Anyone finds like a thread or article and stuff? That's share
it's
that.
very
we'll
interesting.
Definitely cover that.
But these things, right? Like this little thing that you just showed us. What's that?
Tell him about Nimrod if you want to know about Nimrod, because like he's like one of the most significant characters in the Bible, Old Testament period, even till today. Like
Nimrod was the original Project Stargate, right? I mean, Nimrod was creating the Tower of Babel. People speculate whether or not it was a piece of technology somehow, but he's hoping to pierce the heavenly realms, literally with an arrow. This is when God destroys the tower and he scatters the languages, but he was the king of Babylon. And there's a biblical verse that is talking about a statue that's in a vision. Who saw the statue, Top?
Daniel.
So, and it talks about all the different materials that make up the statue. And I believe the way it was talking, because the statue is representative of all these different empires that have existed throughout history. And it talks about the final empire. And the language that it uses, I think, was like the first shall be last. And so there's a whole that plus a gang of other things like Hillary Clinton looking for the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, even though that's a little bit of a misnomer. It was just like somebody from her team or some shit like that. But there is a school of thought that people think, and I am people, that they're going to put the spirit of Nimrod that they have resurrected through finding his body. Nimrod and Gilgamesh are the same character, finding his resurrection chamber, and they're going to embed that spirit in the Antichrist. So the final empire will be of the first empire, meaning it's going to come full circle again.
There's also like some precedent for Nimrod to be like Nephilim, but in this weird, follow me, Jose. They say that he became Gibborim. And Gibborim is an offshoot or like a watering down.
They're all different versions. Yeah, they were all Eames. I remember. Yeah.
So it's like Nephilim were the sons of the angels, and then after that is like Rephaim, and then there are many other classifications as the bloodline gets watered down. Gibborim is sort of one of them, but he became Gibborim, which it sounds like if you were man before and then you became. So this is now we're talking about this idea of transhumanism. So Nimrod is almost the first person to delve into this
Shit.
Yeah.
Nimrod is an X-Men?
Is he really?
There's a character named Nimrod in X-Men, and you just said something that really made me like, holy shit.
Explain.
The transhumanism. Let me see. Let's go Marvel. Let's go to Marvel. Nimrod.
Oh, he looks funny.
I'll bring that up real quick. And you mentioned transhumanism. I'm pretty sure it's like you know how in the X-Men it was always these Sentinels going around killing them and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like in a next level version of them, like attained sentience and like a super weapon. That's what Nimrod in Marvel is. It's wild. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
This is so I don't know what this specifically looked like that the Bible is describing, but yeah, I'm looking at this picture now. He looks fucking cool. But to become Gibborim, it's like you're becoming part of something else. So half human, half whatever else. And then also like his son Hermes, and then that goes into like this, like the hermetic principles.
That one I'm not too sure about.
There's other like myths and fables where like what was the name of his wife that she takes
Semiramis.
his penis. Semiramis takes his penis, impregnates herself after. It's so like a lot of crazy shit.
It's that same thing. It's that dead semen. Who do we just talk to that was talking about that?
Nathaniel Gillis.
Oh man.
So there's like a myth of he dies, Nimrod passes, she takes his erect phallic penis and impregnates herself with it, gets pregnant with Jesus, with Hermes.
I forget his name.
Yeah, and like so it's like the role of the Immaculate Conception, but it's done before Jesus Christ, but obviously it's not that. So it's like this imperfect immaculate. It's the same story over and over and over. It fucking retells itself, and it's like, but Nimrod being the first transhuman person, I don't know what that looked like, but now that we look at whatever transhumanism is lining up to be, it seems like more of an implantation of a consciousness inside of you, like the
new Project Stargate, where they're taking mRNA and they're combining it with artificial intelligence. And it's like, what do you think they're going to do there? Elon Musk wants to put a chip in your fucking head, and now they're combining this with gene altering therapy. Like there is a massive
Tammuz.
push right now. It's the same thing. Tammuz. Yes, there we go.
Yes.
But it's the same thing. I think Project Stargate is going to be another attempt at piercing that heavenly realm. In order to get there, their offspring need to have rights. They need to be, so there's a genetic component to being, their souls can't ascend. That's basically how the lore goes, is the offspring of the fallen angels and human women, their souls are just they're trapped here, they're damned here, they can't enter any sort of heavenly realm. And so the theory goes that if they can do something on a genetic basis, if they can alter your DNA somehow, then they will have rights over your body, and they can also enter these heavenly realms.
And
so
then
it's
you
the
look
same
at,
thing.
I mean, listen, it's, I know it sounds crazy, but Epstein had a fucking cloning farm in New Mexico. They are doing something like Elon Musk is working a breeding program. I don't think he's even like I said it multiple times, I'm not joking. I don't think he's having sex with these women. This is a breeding program. He is spreading his genetic material across different spectrums, from like Jewish to Asian to ugly bitches, whatever. It's wild, and they're constantly and consistently
breeding programs,
doing this.
dude. It's breeding programs. This goes all the way back to like Nazi shit. There's like all sorts of, this is such a deep rabbit hole. Something to maybe talk to Austin about or something. But it's like they fucking like they were like doing probably fucking Nazi breeding experiments that look like they may have leaked into like, you know, more. Like there's pretty strong links that seem to imply there's a good chance maybe Oswald was some sort of like a breeding experiment. There's claims that he had this is where a lot of, supposedly there was a brother that was, you know, spotted to be the like one of the multiple like other Oswalds at multiple points and stuff, also made claims to this. So obviously this is, you know, on the claims of someone who's does have admittedly very, very weird. I mean, this is such a crazy deep rabbit hole to go into. This guy is the guy who created Discordianism, which is such a glowy fucking religion, and a bunch of other stuff was connected to the Process Church. And then on top of that, made claims. Huh?
Have you heard of realism? That's an interesting rabbit hole as well. It's like the Nazi.
Sounds like it's probably the same thing. Yeah.
The Nazi swastika inside of the Star of David, and it's a religion or a cult that worships the Elohim or angels as gods, but also they're like funded or on the side, they're just doing human cloning.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what the fuck are you, like, what is going on? But it's always that. It's always coming down to something about your genetics, something about creating this star seed.
Hybrid star seeds, indigo child, whatever the fuck it is. It's a hybridization program since the jump. See, that's the thing, Jose, that we keep coming across is like eventually you run out of tangible FBI documents, right? But if you follow the anecdotal stories, you go all the way back to Genesis 6, and it's talking about this race of angels who are cast out of heaven, who then engage in a hybridization program. And the hybrids, the offspring from that program, are hugely detrimental to the planet. And they do all kinds of fucked up shit, and to the extent that God's basically like, look, this dude, Noah, he's still human, and his family is still human. Get as much of the original creation on this boat as possible. I'm fucking these things up. That's why you go to like the ancient Inca, and they believe that they actually discovered their megalithic structures, that they didn't create them themselves, and that their lore is, well, a race of giants created it, and they were cannibalistic and evil. They died in a gigantic flood, actually, so not a big deal anymore. This thing repeats itself over and over again until it becomes tangible and concrete, where you're looking at documents and you're seeing, well, like, okay, it picks up at some point and there is a paper trail for this hybridization program. And then it bleeds into what? Fucking aliens and the UAP disclosure. They're also engaging in a hybridization program. It's all the same shit.
Yeah. I mean, you look at like the Koresh thing at Waco. He was insisting on only being the only one who breeds. You know, you got As we mentioned, Elon. I mean, there's so many examples of like what looks like possibly breeding experience. I wouldn't be surprised if there were breeding experience going on in Jonestown, and like so it is, and it's obviously Epstein. So this is a common through line. I think there's something to that. I think these elites, whether they have real fucking Nephilim blood or they think they have real Nephilim blood or whatever, I think it's kind of true that it's like, hey, you're right, that these are going to be, run havoc on the world. Like the horde of Elon's fucking spawn, like what are these things going to inherit? Like what are they going to take over? Pretty much all realms of influence while coming from a fucked up upbringing. Like even just from if we accept the public facing story of what's going on there with Elon and his horde of children, even at that, without me going into other weird, spooky, dark, realms, even at that level, I don't think you create functional human beings in this way. So, I mean, and that's not even going into the other weird shit I would suspect these people are into that gets into like generational trauma and the like. So these people are going to be getting into some weird shit. But I think we kind of really throughout this did a good job of kind of explaining kind of how both of our two shows kind of are peeking at it, the veil from different sides of it, kind of, coming at it from different angles. And we're over 2 hours, so I think it's probably a good time to get out of here. I got shit I got to do too around the house. So if you guys could let people know where you guys are at, where they can find you at, and we'll see you all in Bro Grove on June 20th.
Yes. I look forward to, by the way, fighting alongside you guys in the next 20 years against the army of Elon's autistic children.
Let me just address the sassy studio artist. She's saying that fallen angels cannot reproduce. They cannot procreate. They have. This is the whole. I mean, it's consistently told. Yeah, I mean, like from.
I don't know if she knows. It's like right in the beginning of the book. You got to go to the beginning.
Not just that. You can go to the story of. You can go to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. They're talking about these angels walking through, and like their main sin was that these people were lusting after strange flesh. Look at any other mythology. Yeah, any other mythology throughout the world, it's always like a demigod. There's always a half god, half man. It's like they cannot create anything new. That's the misnomer, but they can fuck. Yeah, and they do fuck.
Zeus was a fallen angel, and he transmuted into a goose, and he raped what's her name? Fuck, I forget what the chick's name is, but and that begot Perseus, I believe. So it just happens over and over again. Perseus is a Nephilim demigod. Choose your word, doesn't matter. Guys, June 20th through the 21st, Leesburg, Florida. Please, if you are subscribed to Jose's Patreon, if you're subscribed to Nephilim Death Squad's Patreon, all the gang, Tower Gang, that's where you can get your tickets. The VIP tickets are nearly gone. And once they go on sale to the general public this coming Friday, they are going to be gone because Shane Cashman, Sam Tripoli, Owen Benjamin's audience are going to get a hold of these things. They're going to be gone. So if you want to stand any chance of being there, you got to be on one of these Patreons and you got to gain early access to it. But otherwise, guys, they drop to the general public this coming Friday. So really looking forward to that. You can find us on Nephilim Death Squad, and you can find me on Twitter. It's pretty much the only place that I do anything. I don't like the other social media platforms. If you want to interact, it's at David L. Corbo.
Same thing.
You got any plugs he didn't cover?
toplobster.com if you want some t-shirts, and follow me on Twitter as well. Toplobster at Twitter. That's it, man. Oh, Tower Gang will be on. Tower Gang will be performing. So it's not just conspiracy and serious talk like this. The second day is going to be completely unhinged. It's good. We actually are working on. So there'll be probably like 2 or 3 events before the stand-up comedy, which is going to be Owen Benjamin headlining the second night. But Tower Gang will have a headlining spot pretty much right before Sam Tripoli, where we'll have our pick of the litter of people that will be there. We're working on a special guest to do his show on Saturday as well. That show might be fucking crazy. Ooh. And like we're in final talks with that of that actually panning out. Yeah.
Tell me off screen. Yeah.
Yeah. So
show up. You pores. Maybe you should start a show and get in the inner circle, and you'll learn
about that. Florida Illuminati, baby.
Yeah, join the fucking crew.
Well, I mean, we're kind of closing it off soon. I don't want any more Illuminati members.
Yeah, that's all the VIP tickets. There's only a few left. That's how you get into the Illuminati. So that's how you do it right there. Yep.
Really, we ran out of babies.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. This was fun. We'll definitely have to do something soon, and I'm sure we will. And there'll definitely be more to come on the on Bro Grove. I really think I remember how the last one went around, and I feel like we are way ahead of the game, and in the sense of so far as people, it's only going to round out even more. So it's going to be, I think it'll be quite the retinue here of people. I learned a new word, guys. But so yeah, you have a good little slew of individuals there. So I highly recommend people check it out. I mean, you may not like Sam or Owen because you're retarded or something, but there will probably be other people you like if you don't like them.
Don't come if you don't like Sam and Owen. Just don't come. There's going to be a lot of people that will buy tickets that will like both of them. So save them for those people.
And we're working on security, so no heckling and no storming the stage.
We are the security. But yeah, over at toplofts.com, I do want to remind you guys can get my merch over there. The Already Dead, banner that kind of covers me and Austin's content all together. You got the Already Deads, Operation Gladio, No Way Jose, Yiki, and Trying to Do shirts.
As a matter of fact, go buy the Yiki shirt because I forgot I have to take that down.
Yeah, I was surprised it didn't come down yet. I probably will, by the way, be likely addressing all that stuff tomorrow. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel like just not doing it. But, I mean, I don't know. I think it's risen to the point of addressing it because it kind of comes off as slightly an attempt at imputing my, character or something, I guess, sort of.
Sorry about that, dude.
Whatever. I addressed that bit already. That, I said, hey, I kind of was aware of it. I think I did say in the group chat something like, I don't know. I would just ignore, but I wasn't pushing you one way or another. Because it's it's not my, hey, whatever. I don't know. I do think people get this impression that we're this one group, and you're I don't control Raven. You also let's be real. Do you give a fuck about the Oklahoma City bombing?
No, I don't even think about it. Which is why it upset me. That's why I got so defensive. I'm this has nothing to do. I just wanted to turn Jose into a black guy because I like Jose and I like him as a black guy.
Well, even that, my point being is this idea that she's going to come to you and that he has no reason to give a shit. If you're the idea and then there was some sort of implied lawsuit or something dude, I don't whatever good grace you think you might get for me in our relationship and then trying to, I guess it's felt like trying to apply it to Raven. It's and then expecting being appalled when that didn't play out. It's I don't know how you felt this was going to go. So I don't know, whatever. I'm not trying to talk shit. I'll apply it and I'll try to be as tactful as possible because I don't even really like this whole situation, to be honest. So, but I'll address it and it's just kind of I just feel like I kind of have to at this point. So we will. Listen, I'm not going to go to the extent of dropping, DMs or anything, although she did reference them. So they probably will reference the context of them. So
we're doing comedy. Yeah. We're doing funny jokes. We're not trying to disrespect the memory of anyone's husband. But when you threaten legal shit, then I'm out. So I was all right, listen, just take any of the drawings that I have done off of your site. I said, David, just take that shit off of your thing because I want nothing to do with this person now. So we're done, unfortunately.
Which hurt me immensely because in my own opinion, I am my own biggest fan. The quote, "Have you ever heard of the KFC bombing?" was incredible. It was incredible, and I had to take that down because we were going to get sued.
There will be more that I'll talk about tomorrow, and I think likely, if I had to guess, I could be completely wrong. Just could have been an isolated thing and had nothing to do with it. No, I'm saying that I think this was probably carryover from. This is carryover from I think some shit that we had in DMs that she referenced. So I will be probably talking about that. So. I don't know. It's too much to dig into now. And honestly, I would say unless you care, don't dig into it. I'm just addressing it because I feel like I'm kind of being... It's the implications are almost as if it's the things that are out there kind of making negative implications of me. So I'm going to respond. And that's that. So despite all the respect I have for Terrence,
Get your Yiki shirt right now because I'll probably leave it up for another 2 days. I forgot that it was even up, but here's your heads up to go buy it because I'm not going to make it available anymore after that. I just don't. It's just not worth the headache to have people remember this woman's husband. So we're done, unfortunately.
It's unfortunately. I completely get it. If you're referencing any, which I'll be honest, I don't even think that I'm not a lawyer, but I do not buy the legal acumen of that. But whatever. That aside, we'll talk about that tomorrow. With the show, I do put timestamps on it after it. So with that, if you don't want to watch it, you can watch it after that. Just go to the next timestamp because unless it suits you, it just anyone who's super into Oklahoma City bombing, I'm sure there's probably other people who have ideas or this that. I'm just gotta be honest because it just feels like there's it feels like I'll be honest, it feels like I'm being fed jacketed and I'm like whatever I'm I don't know what the fuck I'm very confused. It's weird, but so it's just I feel like I have to respond. So but whatever. With that, guys, my show this is the No Way Jose podcast. If you want to support what I'm doing over here and you don't want to chip in a buck, like, share, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, helps out a bunch. If you do want to give me money, I like that. Patreon.com/NoWayJose 2020. The lowest level's $2. That's where you get early access to episodes. That's where you get the ad-free RSS feed. Hey, you get access to early tickets like Bro Grove, like we mentioned earlier. You also get a preference in the video chat for me and Austin's weekly Already Dead show. And also I give a big shout out to my sponsors every time, just as a big thank you. That's the highest level of the patrons, and they get a special shout out.
Do you have the tier for them to join for like a week for free?
Yeah, it's at the $2 level.
Okay, no, I mean, listen, set it up.
Yeah,
people. Let them join for a week for free. If they like it, let them fucking hang on and get rid of the $2 level. These people don't deserve a $2 tier. You're worth $5 at least.
Oh, you mean like that leaks over? That's just Jewish trickery, dog. But I mean, whatever. I mean, you got the Jewfro. You're already primed for it.
We're letting you try it. And you know what? Most people that try the juice come back for fucking more sips, man, because it's good stuff.
And by the way, before we go,
I need to customize my Patreon more.
Nephilim Death Squad is offering high interest loans starting this Friday. So, come on down.
I'd be remiss. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Did I step on your joke?
No. That's it. Come on down.
Yeah, and then I just, as I was saying, shout out to my sponsors. I have Toad, my co-host on Tower Gang, at Tower Gang Toad, at Abrogate D's, at ZOVRECK, at _Infantzeel, Tim Tuttle, at Jolly Long Cleebold, Will Bell's Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, Big Fan Show, Torn Main, and at INWARD Lover. Appreciate you guys for the support you guys give me and enabling me to do what I do. As I kind of expressed earlier, it's kind of the only reason why I'm really able to kind of do this daily show or not be completely drowning financially. And while the morning dump is going down to a 4-day-a-week thing now with the occasional 5-day-a-week, I really think within the next year you guys will be able to drag out the money for it to where I'll be able to justify not going into work anymore. So we're creeping up on that. So I mean, I'm already part-time, only working a few shifts here and there, so it's really not that much of a hurdle. So we're getting there. It won't be that long. I'll be doing this shit 5 days a week and probably putting out more content for you guys. I definitely have things I would like to do once I'm able to be freed up. So. But with that, we're going to go and get out of here. Love you all. Deuces. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. And with that, we are out.